What about this?
What about that? What about that? What about that? What about that? What about this? What about this? What about this?
What about that? What about this?
What about that? What about that? What about that? What about that? What about this? What about this? What about this?
What about that? What about this?
What about that? What about that? What about that? What about that? What about this? What about this? What about this?
What about that? What about this?
What about that? What about that? What about that? What about that? What about this? What about this? What about this?
What about this?
What about that? What about that? What about that? What about that? What about that?
And peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought series, right here on the old T.P.O.T. YouTube page. I'm your host X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why y'all black asses are here. Good show tonight. What's good, brother Art? I see you up there, brother. I see brother Obadiah up there as well. What's good with it? Tonight, Saturday night version of What About? And as you can see up there behind me, tonight we ask about the apathy for family structure. Yeah. I think everybody's going to learn something tonight, but you're also going to be pissed off tonight. You're going to be pissed off. You are. But before we get started, y'all know I always start the show off with thanking you good folks, as always, for your likes, your shares, your views, your subs, and of course, your hard-earned pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and 50-cent pieces. Because you don't have to do it, man. You don't have to show up to these damn streams. You don't have to watch them. You don't have to share them. You don't have to like them. And you definitely don't have to drop your hard-earned coins on this platform. But you good folks, man, you choose to do so, man. Night after night, week after week, you're here. And I want you to know, man, that I don't take you lightly. I never have, and I never will. You got my word on that. I'm humbled. I'm honored. I'm thankful for all you good folks out there. and I am appreciative more than anything else. All right. All right. So let's get at it. Um, First, let's start off here with this here word, apathy. See it? Apathy. And what does apathy mean? I'll tell you. According to Webster's dictionary, apathy means the lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. So now you know what we're talking about, right? The lack of interest, the lack of enthusiasm, the lack of concern, right? So let's start there. Now we know as Black folks, many of us don't have the quote unquote nuclear family, right? Like this, the nuclear family, right? Mom, dad, kids, family, right? Now, that's the majority of us, okay? The majority of us, we're born into, whatever kind of conditions. Usually, most of us live with old mama, right? That's who most of us live with, right? The majority of us. But is that truly a family when it's just you and old mama? Is that family? Or should I say, is that a family, right? Because there's family, people who are related to you, whether they're your cousins, brother, mama, daddy, aunt, uncle, grandma, granddad, all those people, nieces, nephew, they're family, right? But is this a family? And does it matter the different types of families that we have? Does it matter? Now, common wisdom would say that it does. But some people say that it doesn't. None of that matters. Doesn't matter if you don't have a pappy. Doesn't matter if just mom is raising you. But the statistics say, you know, that you're just less likely to end up like this if you have a father. Less likely to be on dope. Less likely to do all these other things. Now, I'm going to introduce y'all to somebody tonight because we're going to look at a lot of pictures tonight. All right. And then I'm going to bring in the brother, the man. But I want to do this first. So just bear with me. I want to introduce y'all to somebody tonight. This here is Miss Christina Cross. I don't know if y'all have heard of her, okay? But I'll tell you who she is. She is a professor of sociology. And I believe she's a postdoctoral professor of Harvard. I think that takes effect January of this year. And she, in fact, I've been doing it even one better. How about we do this? How about we do this? Do you even one better, folks? Here we are. That's Miss Christina Cross. Now, It says here, two-parent homes aren't the key for all. Christina Cross argues that the greater diversity needs to be taken into account when studying family dynamics. And I kind of agree with her there. And she's getting interviewed, I believe, by I believe she's getting interviewed by some damn body here. Oh, page unresponsive. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, here we are. It's back. Now, she's getting interviewed by the Gazette, right? The Harvard Gazette, which is the school she's, going to be teaching sociology, right? And, they're asking her basic questions, what do you do, your education, blah, blah, blah. But what really stuck out with Miss Cross is these stanzas here that I have highlighted, right? Now, I'm going to blow them up so y'all can see them. I'm going to blow them up so you good folk can see them. A little bigger. And they asked her, they said, are there some policy alternatives that might better serve families outside of the two-parent nuclear family model? And Ms. Cross said, I would point to the research of other scholars like Derek Hamilton and William A. and Sandy Darity, who have come up with some interesting and potentially viable proposals to reduce inequality in America. An example of that would be baby bonds, where every child born in America is given a bond of a certain amount based on income. So families with more money will get less, and families who have fewer dollars get more toward the bond. The bond then grows over the child's life course, and that would help them pay for things like college, which we know is getting increasingly expensive. So if we're to take the money that we're using for marriage promotion initiatives and put it towards something like baby bonds, I suspect that we might address more directly the financial hardship that families are facing. So the reporter goes on to ask, are there any others that strike you as promising, meaning initiatives? She says, sociologists have also known for some time that one of the biggest drivers of inequality in America is housing segregation. There's a high concentration of poverty in certain communities, which means that people don't have access to basic resources like quality schools and other community resources. If we could focus on creating opportunities for more affordable housing, or even better, offering people a living wage, I would speculate that those initiatives would probably be more effective than trying to get single women married. Now, if you read what she's saying here, right? What she's basically saying is, and now this is an educated woman now, she's saying that it's better to give money for having children, a baby bond that grows over time, as opposed to telling women to get married. So, in other words, have as many babies as you want, and every baby that you have, you get this baby bond form, so you don't have to get married. Now, of course, it's always a fucking black woman who says this kind of crap, right? Fathers don't matter. Now, I want to show y'all something else, right? Because we're not finished with Mrs. Cross here, okay? Now, there's a brother, right? There's a brother who read one of Mrs. Cross's articles, right? And that brother, he wrote something opposite. He wrote something opposite because she wrote this article that said, see if I can find it here. Yeah, the article she wrote, and I'll share this with you. She wrote an article titled The Myth of the Two-Parent Home, right? So another scholarly brother, he read this article. His name is Ian Rowe, and he is a senior fellow at the American Institute. And he says the power of the two-parent home is not a myth. He says, among several disturbing elements of Christina Cross's New York Times op-ed, because that's where she wrote it, y'all. She wrote it in the New York Times. Now, I couldn't access because I done already used up my damn New York Times free access. I actually have to join and get the full subscription because I didn't know I had used up all my damn I didn't know I used up all my access, y'all. So I can't pull it up for y'all, but y'all can look it up. And he says several disturbing elements of Christina's Cross New York op-ed, The Myth of the Two-Parent Home, is the author's seeming belief that unless growing up with married parents has the same effect on Black children as on white youngsters, it is not worthy of endorsement. Otherwise, asserts the Harvard postdoctoral fellow, speaking of Mrs. Cross, blindly promoting the merits of marriage and the two-parent family is not the answer. Her purpose appears to be to show how Black families do in comparison to white families, as opposed to what the absolute impact of strengthened family structure would be on Black children. Take this excerpt. Although in general, youths raised in two-parent families are less likely to live in poverty, Black youths raised by both biological parents are still 3 times more likely to live in poverty than are their white peers. Additionally, Black two-parent families have half the wealth of white two-parent families, so many of the expected economic benefits of marriage and the two-parent family are not equally available to Black children. Yet the research Cross herself cites from the National Center for Education Statistics tells a far more hopeful story about the impact of family structure. Consider what we see in Figure 1. Now, here's a graph, right? I'll blow this up for you good folk. Now, what it talks about here, it talks about the child's race and ethnicity. Dark green here, married couple household. Mid green here, mother only household. Grayish green here, father only household. Now, if you look, Figure 1, percentage of children under the age of 18 and families living in poverty by child's race, ethnicity, and family structure. Now, this is an older study. It's about 4 years old. It was done in 2017, right? Now, here we are. Now, y'all can see. Notice, married couple households, total, 9%. White, 5%. Black, 12%. Hispanic, 16%. Asian, 8%. Pacific Islander, 17%. American Indian, 16%. 2 or more races, 6%. But here we are with the mother-only household, the baby mamas. 39% living in poverty. Total, White, 31%. Black, 45%. Hispanic, 45%. Asian, 25%. Pacific Islander, 45%. American Indian, 45%. And the two other races, 37%. We're even going to look at father-only households. Total, 24%. White, 17%. Black, 36%. Hispanic, 27%. 18% for Asian. 35% for Pacific Islander. 41% for American Indians. And 24% for two races or more. Now, this source comes from the Characteristics of Children's Family, National Center for Educated Statistics, U.S. Department of Education. Last updated May 19th. So this study is a little more up to date than the graph, right? Now it says here, in 2017, only 5% of white children under 18 residing with their married parents lived in poverty, versus 12% of black children living with their married parents. That's a relative multiplier of 2.4, not the exaggerated 3 times that Cross estimates with her obsession with black-white comparisons. But far more importantly, we see that the proportion of black children under 18 living in poverty decreases from 45% for mother-only households and 36% for father-only households to just 12% for married couple households. That's a huge difference and an enormous improvement that seems to not interest Dr. Cross. To repeat, being raised in a married couple household led the poverty rate for black children to go down 73% compared to mother-only households and 67% compared to father-only households. And as evidence of the power of the family structure to transcend race. In other words, it doesn't matter what race you are, what color you are. When you grow up with both of your parents, you are at a statistical advantage. You just stand a better chance in life as a kid when you have both of your parents. Doesn't matter what color you are. Doesn't matter where you're from. You can be from Mars, but if you got a Martian mama and a Martian daddy, you're probably going to do better out there in space. But we all know that. Even though we constantly deny it, we know it to be true. We just do. All right? We just do. We just do. But he continues. And as evidence of the power of family structure to transcend race, 31% of white children raised in mother-only households live in poverty. That's white folk, y'all. Because, we think all white folk is rich. All white folk are rich. But 31% of white children raised in mother-only households live in poverty, versus just 12% of black children living with married parents. This is a stunning realization, yet Cross narrowly cites evidence that seeks to denigrate the two-parent household as a marginal thing for black children, while ignoring the data that actually cement the difference family structure plays in the lives of children of all races. Another strange statistical technique practiced by Cross is lamenting the fact that Black Americans have disproportionately high levels of family instability, while not disclosing figures that would illuminate the extent of the issue. I would urge that it is better to share the raw data so that people can assess the actual numerical explosion and non-marital birth rates among blacks, and then reasonably conclude for themselves whether the statistics do actually matter. Here's another excerpt. America has a long and troubled history of viewing racial inequality, primarily through the lens of family structure. Recall the publication of the controversial Moynihan Report in 1965, in which government officials pointed to a higher rate of female-headed households and out-of-wedlock births among Black Americans as key drivers of the disadvantages they face. When Moynihan produced A Negro Family, The Case for National Action, he was drawing attention to what he saw as a crisis in a segment of Black community that was mired in poverty. According to the 1965 report, 23.6% of all Black babies were born outside of marriage. Now, that was back then in 1965, y'all. Okay? But we continue. If the same attention had been paid to the glaring statistic then as has been paid to the structural barriers around race, steps could have been taken to arrest the continuing decline in family formation that has occurred over the last 5 decades, not only in the Black community, but across all races. Indeed, according to the most recent census data, in 2018, the non-marital birth rate among Black women reached 69.4%, and the overall non-marital rate was 39.6%, as Moynihan himself warned again almost 30 years ago. In 1991, illegitimacy levels that were viewed as an aberration of a particular subculture 25 years ago have become the norm for the entire culture. Now, we're going to stop there, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in the chat. And this brother's name is Ian Rowe. He is a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. And he wrote this because Dr. Cross wrote some other counterintuitive nonsense, trying to make it seem like having a father in the home doesn't matter. In fact, what she said in layman's terms was, oh, it's better to just give people bonds, give them baby bonds to grow over a course of time with each baby being born, as opposed to trying to convince single women to be married. She said that was better. I'll put her article in there too, because it's a bunch of gobbledygook. But yeah, I will put this in the chat. Good folks. You can go ahead and read it for yourself. And guess what? It's not the white man's data. A brother wrote it. So read it without the grain of salt. Yeah, it's not the white man's data, y'all. It's the brother. The brother wrote it, God damn it. It's not the white man's data. Go ahead, man, and check it out for yourselves. I advise you to brother Charles. That's basically what her article said. In fact, let me pull that up. Let me get this off of here. I'll pull that up and y'all can read that for yourselves too. That's when she got interviewed because she's getting ready to become a professor at Harvard. By the way, let's see if I can pull it back up. Damn, I hope I didn't cross it out. Oh, I did. God damn it. I think I closed it out. Son of a bitch. I had it up because she was getting interviewed by the Harvard Gazette. because I want y'all to read the whole thing. I want y'all to read her interview. As a matter of fact, I'm going to find it. I'm going to pull it up. But in the meantime, we're going to go here. We're going to go here. We're going here. Here, the Institute for Family Studies. Less poverty. Less prison. What's good, brother Info? Oh, I'm glad you here, man. This another brother that need to be here, boy. We're gonna have some fun tonight. Don't worry, I'm gonna close out my presentation in a few minutes. Everybody just hang tight. But here it says, and this is pretty recent. This is from June 17th, 2021. It says less poverty, less prison, more college. What two-parent means for Black and white children. All right. And I'm just going to read a little. I'm not going to read a lot. Children who grow up in a household with only one biological parent are worse off. On average, the children who grow up in a household with both of their biological parents, regardless of the parent's race or educational background, regardless of that, regardless, all right? Now, Princeton University sociology professor Sarah McClanahan summarized the social scientific consensus about the importance of family structure for children with her colleague Gary Sandifer in this passage from their magisterial 1992 book, Growing Up with a Single Parent. In recent years, many other scholars have come to similar conclusions, from Paul Amatou at Penn State to Isabel Sawhill at the Brookings Institute to Melanie Wasserman at UCLA. The consensus view has been that children are more likely to flourish in an intact two-parent family compared to children in single-parent or step families. But this consensus view is now being challenged by a new generation of scholarship and scholars. For instance, notice who they mentioned first: sociologist Christina Cross at Harvard University recently published an op-ed in the New York Times entitled "The Myth of the Two-Parent Home" that contended living apart from a biological parent does not carry the same costs for Black youths as for their white peers. In the Times and in another op-ed this month, the Harvard Gazette, she draws on her own work indicating that Black children are less affected by family structure on a number of educational outcomes to make the argument that family structure is less consequential for Black children. Let me read that to you people again, the ones who may not have heard it in the nosebleed seats. She says family structure is less consequential for Black children. Isn't that something? Yeah, when you're Black, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But we continue. In recent years, other family scholars here and there have also called into question the idea that children do better in stable two-parent families. One practical implication of this revisionist line of research is that children may not benefit from having their father in the household. Let me read that again. Children may not benefit from having their father in the household. Isn't that something? But we continue. Another implication is that the value of the two-parent family may be markedly different across racial lines, with Black children less likely to benefit from such a family. Accordingly, in this Institute for Family Study research brief, we investigate two questions. One, are Black children more likely to flourish in an intact two-parent home compared to Black children raised by single parents or in step families? We focus on these subgroups because they are the largest family groups for American children today, including African American children. And we answer this question by looking at three important outcomes: child poverty, college graduation, and incarceration. Right? Number two, is the association between family structure and child outcomes markedly different by race? Here we focus on comparing white and Black children in intact two-parent families to their peers in non-intact families, single-parent families, step families, and other families. Our aim is to determine if the association is different for Black children compared to white children on three outcomes noted above. Now, they go into family structure and Black child outcomes, right? They say today, 37% of Black children are living in a home headed by their own two biological parents. 48% are living in a home headed by a single parent. And 4% are living in a step family with one biological parent and one non-biological parent. According to the March 2020 Current Population Survey, in this research brief, we explore how these three family structures are associated with child poverty, college graduation, and incarceration. We draw on the data from the American Community Survey 2015 to 2019, 5-year estimates, and the National Longitudinal Survey of Youth 1997, specifically NLSY 97. Follows the lives of national representative samples of American youth born between 1980 and 1984. The survey started in 1997 when the youth were ages 12 to 17. We used the wave that was surveyed in 2013, 2014, when the cohort was at least 18 years old. And they give a graph. I'm going to show it to you. Negroes. Blow it up so I can see the motherfucker. It's small as hell, y'all. And I'm going to put this in the chat too, of course, because y'all know that's how we do it here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. How we do it here. There it is. Go ahead, read it for yourself. Feel free to spam it if you like, my moderators. Okay. Now, you see here, the yellow is the percentage of children living with two parents in the first marriage. The gray, percentage living in likely step-parent family. The blue, percentage likely living with single parents. Now, here we are. Black folk, yellow, living with two parents in first marriage, 13%. The gray, living in likely step-parent families, 33%. Living with one parent, 46%. Then we go down to white folk. Why they only use Black and white folk, y'all, I don't know. This is their data, not mine, and I do believe that this is the white man's data. As y'all know, I like to let y'all know when it's the white man's data. But we continue. The yellow here for white folk, 5%. Living with two parents. The gray, 13%. Living in a likely step-parent family. The blue, 33%. Living with single parent, right? And we're talking about child poverty rate. That's what we're talking about. The child poverty rate. Because we know poverty is a cause of other things, man. We try to deny it, but we know what it is. So we continue. Figure 1 indicates that the black children in homes headed by single parents are about 3.5 times more likely to be living in poverty compared to black children living with two parents in a first marriage. Our measure of intact families in the ACS, those in likely step families, are approximately 2.5 times more likely to be poor. Moreover, after controlling for maternal education, age, children's age, and gender, we find the odds of being poor for black children in non-intact families are 3 times higher than for black children in intact families. Married families, clearly, black children in stable married families are better off financially. And I'm going to stop there. Y'all can read the rest yourselves. We stop there because I got too many other things I want to show y'all, and I don't want to kill too much time before I do it. So I need to go to, and also I want to show y'all this too. Here is Mrs. Cross, this Harvard postdoctoral professor who wants you to believe that black children don't really benefit from a two-parent home. Black children don't benefit from having a father. No, they don't. They don't benefit all that much. So here is Lady Christina Cross. Feel free to hit her up. There's her information. All right. That's who she is. This is the link to her CV page. You hit that, and it goes to a PDF. And she's actually pretty accomplished. She's done many, many things. Many, many things. Many, many things. Very accomplished woman. But I believe she's wrong. She's wrong. All right? She is wrong on this. And I will drop this in the chat as well. Her accolades, her credentials. All right. You can see those for yourself. This here is from the Department of Sociology, Harvard. I'll give y'all that too. Y'all can look her up and see for yourself. What link are you talking about, Lady Shonda? Article survey in the chat, or can you rewind the stream to get the source name? You're talking about the one from the senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. Is that who you're talking about, Lady Shonda? Is that the one you're speaking of, Lady Shonda? Is that the one? Let me see. I'll pull up the brother. Is that the one the link with the survey data from 2015 to 2019? That's there. That's the first one that I just put up. The one that I put up, this one. Okay, I'll do this. Here you go. Lady Shonda. Bam. Oh, wait a minute. What the hell just happened? I can do that. 1 minute. I got a lot of windows open back here, y'all. I got a lot of windows open back here, y'all. I think you're talking about this one, Lady Shonda. This one here. You got it? For some reason, this shit is acting really crazy right now. Like, what the hell? What the hell going on right now? Craziness just took place. And I think the damn camera went out. Jesus Christ. But yeah, but I want to show y'all something else as well. I want to show y'all this. And then we're going to start bringing in the folks. Right? Black dads matter. As if we didn't know that already. All right? As if we didn't know that already. And I'm just going to read a little of this. I'm not even going to go all the way into it. It says here, it has long been known that father's presence in the household is important for the positive well-being of families, neighborhoods, and youth. Dads who actively participate in the lives of their families provide a steady source of stability and support. The consequences of such support impact a whole host of child developmental outcomes, including behavior, academics, and health. Involved fathers are also more likely to engage in positive parenting behaviors like academic intervention and constructive discipline. Promoting responsible fatherhood then should be the focus of institutions as well as grassroots efforts in society. Involved fathers help create well-adjusted youth. What happens, however, when there are impediments to both the presence and participation of fathers in the lives of children, particularly Black fathers? Conservatives often address this question by contending that Black fathers are not adequately present and involved with their families. They push to create policies that encourage marriage among families, particularly Black families, as a way to foster child well-being and success. The success sequence, for example, suggests that individuals are more likely to avoid poverty and be successful if they finish their education, obtain full-time employment, marry, and then have children in that order. That idea itself seems intuitive and positive. After all, proponents contend that this ordering would create more stable and successful Black families. Critics, however, point out that the success sequence disregards the impediments that the individual effort cannot always overcome. Now, I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to put that in the chat as well, Negroes. All right. Let's get that off. And one more thing before we start bringing Negroes in. One more thing before we bring in Negroes. One more thing. One more thing, Negroes. My ass can find it because y'all know I'm old. So, y'all know I'm old. Unless I didn't put it up here. I'm pretty sure I did. God damn it. No, I got it. And yeah, this here comes from, in fact, I'm just going to show y'all. I'm just going to show you, good folks. How about that? I can show you better than I can tell you. I can show you better than I can tell you because This is the black folks data. As you can see, it says Afro News, the black media authority. Thank you very much. But anyway, Census Bureau, higher percentage of black children live with single mothers. Now remember, this ain't the white man's data, so put your salt box down. You don't need to take this with a grain of salt because it's the black man's data, not the white man's data. And somebody get the damn spam X-rated people up out of here for me, please. Somebody block the naked, the XYZ girls. Somebody please remove that person. Thank you very much. But they start right off, they go right into it. They say a disproportionate number of black children under 18 live in single parent homes, according to the new data from the U.S. Census Bureau. In its annual America Families and Living Arrangements data collection, the Bureau examined marriage and family, the living arrangements of older adults, and other household characteristics. It found that the majority of the 73.7 million American children under the age of 18 live in families with two parents. That's 69%. Now, that's a decrease from the 88% from 1960. Of those 50.7 million children living in families with two parents, 47.7 million live with two married parents, and 3 million live with two unmarried parents. Broken down by race, however, the statistics show stark differences. The percentage of white children under 18 who live with both parents almost doubles that of black children, according to the data. While 74.3% of all white children below the age of 18 live with both parents, only 38.7% of African American minors can say the same. Instead, more than 1/3 of all black children in the United States under the age of 18 live with unmarried mothers, compared to 6.5% of white children. The figures reflect a general trend. During the 1960 to 2016 period, the percentage of children living with only their mother nearly tripled from 8% to 23%. And the percentage of children living with only their father increased from 1% to 4%. Social scientists have long espoused that the benefits for children who live in two-parent homes, including economic, educational, health, and other advantages. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat too. Good folk. Stick that in there for your reading pleasure, Negroes. And there we have it, man. I mean, but we know this stuff already, right? Right? We know this stuff. Oh, and let me see. The Hood Conservative sent me something here. Let's have a look. In fact, matter of fact, I'll hold off on it. I'll bring it up because I know it's something that's just going to go ahead and garner my already point. So I'll hold on to that, Brotherhood Conservative. We'll show it later, but we will show it. So yeah, Professor Cross here seems to believe that black kids don't benefit from two-parent homes like we say they do. Professor Cross seems to think that just give women a baby bond whenever they have a baby. You know, a bond that grows over the course of time, you know, as they grow older, and, you know, maybe some of this poverty will go away. There's no benefits to having a father, according to Dr. Cross here. And isn't it amazing? And it's crazy because when I was reading from the senior fellows article, because I read his article first before I even knew who Professor Cross was. But once he started talking about her article, I knew she was a black woman just from what he was saying when he was quoting her lines. I knew when I pulled this woman up, I knew she was going to be a black woman, man. I knew she wasn't going to be like white or Latino or no. I knew she was going to be a black woman saying this bullshit. I knew she was. And guess what? When I start looking, I was like, oh boy. Because she writes things like the myth of the two-family household, the myth of the marriage family household. You know, these are the things that she writes. When they talk about these new scholars that have come along, these are the people we're talking about, man. Trying to convince black people that, you know what? Two-parent household isn't that important, y'all. All we need to do is give you baby mama some money and that'll take care of everything. Let's not make sure they have fathers. Absolutely not. Nah. We don't need to make sure of that. But if you do happen to have a baby, we'll give you a baby bond, give you some money because you're having this baby. I don't know where Mrs. Cross has been, but there's a name for that. It's called welfare. It's called subsidies. It's called public assistance. It's called all kinds of things, Mrs. Cross. When you're talking about giving women money when they have a baby. Think you're a little late to the party, madam. But anyway, get her up off of my damn thing. Out of here, girl, with your BS. But anyway, I want to know what the brothers think. I want to know. And by the way, goddammit, Negro, subscribe to this here channel. How about that? And hit that goddamn like button. Because if you don't, I will haunt your old black ass mama in her dreams. Yeah, don't make me do it. But done running my mouth. I didn't know I had talked for damn near an hour. Why y'all ain't stop me? Like, goddamn, X, you been talking for an hour. Y'all just gonna sit there and not say nothing. But if y'all wish to come through, what to do? The email is properthought at yahoo.com. It's properthought, one word, no caps, at yahoo.com. But I'm going to email the man because he is my lead off. So the man, check your email if you're still out there, brother. Because the man is my lead off tonight, Negroes. Pretty sure he will have some insightful things to say about this. Check your email out there, the brother, the man. If you're still in the chat room, check your email. Check your email. And everybody else, if you wish to come through, y'all know what to do. Y'all know what to do. Proper Thought at yahoo.com is Proper Thought. One word, no caps, at yahoo.com. Negroes, y'all should know the email by now, as long as y'all been around here. The man, what's good with it, brother?
Bro, everybody need to hit support. Hit the Cash App. Hit whatever you need, man, because this guy, as not only has he gave you a wealth of knowledge in terms of stats, but he has also been very entertaining. Support thought, man. Support thought. All right. So what do I think? I mean, you guys have seen the list.
Yep.
And what do I say about the list? If she has one thing, if she displays one thing that's on the list, some dumb shit is bound to come out of her mouth. Totally fucking dumb. Despite everything all of her peers have been saying about this. Okay? Starting at the hair weave. You guys know when the sun blocks your head, when you have something that blocks your head from the sun, that some dumb shit is bound to come out of your mouth. Just because these women are very accomplished, just because they've been to school, that does not necessarily mean that they're not stupid. You know, we got a saying, you're so smart, you're dumb. Okay? You're so smart, you're dumb. You know, when I was hearing you spit out some things, right? In terms of the stats. You know, I do, and I don't know, well, I don't know if you know, but I'll tell you guys. I do a lot of work with family court issues. And at the end of the day, it's about the kids. Right? At the end of the day, that's who it's about. Now, Thought, I wonder if you could share my screen real quick.
Go ahead. Put it up.
So when parents go through divorce or separation or something like that, right? Some of the parenting courses that they give you is this one. What about the children? Okay. And these are actual PhDs that's writing this book. Right? So you're talking about what about the children? Here's the impact. Here's the impact and how the children are devastated. Now, this is not me saying this. The impact. Most children deeply miss their fathers. They mourn the loss of their fathers as if he was dead. In fact, lack of contact due to the father's death causes fewer problems than for children of a breakup. Meaning that if the father was dead, they tend not to have as many problems. But they worry about or they worry about the fact that the father has forgot about them. It's an ongoing grief cycle that they go through. Here, boys need their fathers to help them develop their identity. See that? So when boys are growing up in households without their fathers, they are going through a goddamn identity crisis. They need to be with a male parent to learn about male interests, activities, skills, and social behaviors. They get this from their fathers, not their mothers. Boys need an older male authority figure. They need the approval and interest. Boys and girls need exposure to their father for his love, guidance, and discipline. Didn't we just hear that earlier? Children without fathers often do not do as well in school. They get more criticism. They get more criticism from their teachers for their behaviors. So when there's no dads at home, single mother households, the children are going to school being criticized by the teachers. Girls tend to be more flirtatious with boys and men when they have not grown up with their fathers. They tend to be more sexually promiscuous and marry or cohabitate earlier. Boys and girls have higher levels of worry and anxiety. They have a poor concept of self. Delinquency rates are higher. Boys show impaired moral development. The goddamn Pookies and Ray Rays out here. Okay. You think that's enough? Nah. Let's see what else they got to say. Children deprived of their natural fathers. See, y'all out here trying to play these stepfather games with all of these people, right? Y'all trying to play stepfathers or this is my new wife and all of this other crazy shit. Children deprived of their natural fathers compared to children in two-parent families. Listen to this. Children deprived of their natural fathers compared to children in two-parent families are 8 times likely to go to prison. You hear that? 8 times more likely to go to prison. 5 times more likely to commit suicide. 20 times more likely to have behavioral problems. 20 times more likely to become rapists. 32 more times likely to run away. 10 times more likely to have some sort of substance or chemical abuse. 9 times more likely to drop out of high school. 33 more times likely to be seriously abused. 73 more times likely to be fatally abused. What does that mean? Killed. And have a 44% higher mortality rate. Everything is pointing opposite of what this bimbo is saying. She's just saying shit just to be relevant. Which she actually should get stripped of her damn degree because she obviously didn't learn something in school. She should be shunned by her peers and sent to go work at the goddamn Waffle House.
No, in fact, she's going to be at the top of the year, she's going to be teaching at Harvard. Yeah.
You see this? And they said, it goes on to say, there are many more risks and costs when one parent drops out. What does that mean? When one parent decides to walk away, the risk gets greater. Now, check this out. Problems that are caused when mothers are absent. Right? You see this very small list when mothers are not around. Children are going to have emotional and learning problems. Girls lose their main role model, resulting in problems of developing their identity. The fathers are limited to their ability to understand their daughters. The boys also suffers as mothers can help them develop emotionally. Mothers, they may play a major role in helping prevent violent behavior in teenage boys. They're not even sure about that. Children's self-esteem is damaged when they're rejected by their mother, as in both parents. And their social relationships. But that's it. The kids are not going to die if their mother's is gone. Now, I'm not saying that the mother should be gone because both parents need to just sit the fuck down and shut up and raise the kids. Right? But the issue here is this. When you have these women who's thinking, well, I have a new way that we can solve the financial problem. The only way to solve the financial problem is that both parents stay together. That's the only way. See, women, Don't try to reinvent the wheel because you can't. We got it all figured out. See, those 9 months when you was at home having babies, you was pregnant, we were still working, figuring things out. We know what works and what doesn't work. We've been through tried, tested, and true models. We've studied, we've learned, we've adapted. And so everything that the sisters are doing is contrary. Just look out, just go outside and look. Go outside and look, and every time you turn around, you have to move people around so that way they'll be able to move to a new neighborhood so that the old neighborhood, because y'all done destroy the old neighborhoods, allow the kids to destroy the old neighborhoods. Now you got to move around to a new neighborhood so that you'll have something else to destroy. Because you don't know what the hell you're doing. And at some point, you have to concede. At some point, you have to say, well, I don't want my child to be looking like this one here. But it's almost as if the women just don't give a shit. As long as I could buy my foreign aesthetics and buy what makes me feel good, I don't care about the family. I don't care about the family structure. As a matter of fact, what else can I do to make myself feel good? Let me look through my phone and look through my DMs and see how much of a slut I could be today. This is the problem. And then what they want to do is to feel good about them being sluts. This is what these women actually want. They want to feel good about being sluts. I covered on Rogan's show this morning, right? Cervical cancer and HPV. Having sex with multiple men, HPV is the leading cause of cervical cancer. See, y'all out here and y'all fucking around with this white boy and y'all have no idea what he's trying to do. He's trying to cause you women to expire off this planet early. He's giving you foreign aesthetics. He's making you sick, literally making you sick. And none of these women on any of these other shows, they ever talk about how sick they are from wearing hair weaves and foreign aesthetics. They never discuss their own health. They never talk about why their vaginas are around here. You can smell their vaginas walking down the street. Goddamn. They never talk about this stuff. And as you can see, and I seen some of these sites today. I took some time and I looked at them, and these women are hurt. They're hurting because they have zero guidance. So they're putting on all of this foreign aesthetics. They're putting on all of this crap. They're killing themselves, right? They're killing themselves. And so now they're just going to kill the family. They're going to kill everything else. Kill the goddamn plants, kill a dog. They're just going to kill whatever they can kill. This is what they're going to do. Because they're dying. And then as soon as you try to get some guidance, even about your own goddamn health from a black man, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You want to fight us about it. How about take the shit off your head, take the shit off your face, pay attention to what's important. Relationships. The relationships between you and the man that you decided to open your legs with and make a baby with. Open your legs to and make a baby with. That's what's important. That relationship. Family. Because right now, you women are doing a piss-poor ass job and nobody's telling you about it. But then you go listen to some tramp talking about she has a PhD. A PhD in stupidity. That's what she got. Because it's obvious that she did something on the side in order to get that damn thing, and I don't think it was paying for it. I don't think she paid cash for it. Because all of those damn accomplishments on her resume, oh no, I think she had to do a few sluttish things in order to make it, because it's obvious it wasn't her brains. Because anybody with a half a brain would have did some goddamn peer review study before she opened her mouth. So I really appreciate it, bro. And I hate to go on a rant like this, but when I see the kids and you see what they out here doing, right? They got M16s, AK-47s, handguns, and they're doing all of this crap simply because they don't have a father at home. Now, the family court business is a $1 trillion a year business. The lawyers are making money hand over fist, right? And why? Is so that they could decimate your community, so that they can cause you to expire early. People perish for a lack of knowledge. And here it is. You got one black woman that they're trying to use as a representative. Oh, yes, well, she's very smart and she's very accomplished and she's very this and she's a goddamn idiot.
Well, this is the thing. When I started this stream, I was going to talk about this, and I happened to come across the study of the brother with him first, and I'll go ahead and I will put her up again, y'all, so y'all can see who this lady is. Now, this is what pisses me off, and I know I'm going to piss some people off when I say this, but I don't care. We often get up here and we talk about people's narratives and the effect that people have on folks with the things they say, et cetera, et cetera. And we're just YouTubers, all right? We're just YouTubers. Most of us are what? I know I got like 4,000 subscribers. Most of us, that's probably kind of where most of us average, right? Unless you're one of the bigger people, right? If you're one of the bigger people, you probably average about 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers like myself. So I don't think my influence is greater than a professor, a postdoctoral fellow in sociology, a lecturer on sociology, an assistant professor of sociology at Harvard. I don't think that I have more influence than that person. And this person believes, especially when it comes to black families, that fathers are not important. Two-family households are not important. And guess what? She's given interview, and she's going to give more interviews. She's going to be giving more lectures. This is what you have, folk. Going out there spewing this. But I don't see any of you flagging her. I don't see any of you coming against her. I don't see any of you making videos about her either. But you'll turn around and you'll go against brothers for the things they say because you think they're influencing people, that they're pushing propaganda. Well, what is Professor Cross doing? Would somebody tell me what Professor Cross is doing? Remember, Professor Cross believes that you black men are not important in your children's lives. Yeah, you're inconsequential. You mean nothing. Your children don't benefit from your presence. Your children don't benefit if you and their mother are together, if you and their mother are married. Your children don't benefit at all. So what do you think about the good doctor here? Well, come on up. Challenge. Please, someone come level a challenge. Go ahead.
Here's what I think that they're attempting to do. They are attempting to redefine family and what a parent is.
Yes.
Okay. So they're trying to say that now here's who parents are. Parents are only biological mother and father period. Everyone else after that is attempting to assume a parental type of role. You see, everyone else outside of that. So if, let's just say if daddy doesn't show up one day and stepdaddy tries to step in to try to make the kid or fulfill the kid's life, there's a reason why the stepfather should not be there or the step guy should not be there. Okay? Because daddy knows the type of person his child is. And how can a father properly discipline his child if someone else is stepping in, trying to fulfill his role and fucking up? See, this is the problem with women. This is the problem with people. The interference with parenting. These are not your children. And so for everyone who's out there who's actually listening, if you're some sort of step something, you are not the parent. You are in the way of proper parenting because it's about the psychological nature of the children. No matter how much of a good bang up job you think you're doing, no matter how much of a piece of shit that you think that their father actually is, or that how much of a piece of shit that their mother actually is, you are in the way of children properly being raised by their parents. Bar none, bottom line. And just because the biggest screw-ups in the world, which is those pink people, I don't know if you say white people or purple people, but those pink people, they are the biggest screw-ups on the planet. And they actually look for black men to solve all of their problems. Down in Houston, they had an issue where the kids was in the school fighting. 4 gang fights in 3 days or something crazy. And then they developed the thing where the fathers started coming up there 44 deep to solve the problem. Well, wait a second. Look at all the problems that was caused by the damn white man and the black woman kicking us out of the house. We had to overcome getting jobs, overcome making money, and do all of this shit. Now we got to play Superman and come down there and straighten out the kids too. You see? The deal is this. How about stay out of our business? We know what we're doing when it comes to our children. But the deal is that anytime someone interferes in that process, our children now gets thrown off the rails. It's called undermining parental authority. See, that's the problem. And here it is. What she's trying to do is, and I think she has some sort of political agenda. A lot of those people that come out of Harvard, they try to have some sort of political agenda that some other white person could catch on to, and then they're trying to do. You see where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you hear what her biggest thing is, here's how we could solve the money problem. How about attaching bonds to these kids, right? Well, attach the bonds to the kids. Now, what happens to a child? What happens to the bond when the child passes away? When the child gets killed? Because we already seen what the mortality rates are. They're 44 times more likely to be killed, right? So what happens to that bond? Government gets it. Parent can't cash in on the bond because it was for the child to cash in. You see? So this person here is saying dumb shit, not only to be relevant, but so that she can line her own pockets, her own self-interest.
And see, this is the greater problem. Like I said, this is going to be a professor at Harvard, man. So she's going into Harvard. Her tenure in Harvard begins January, okay, of next year. So you got a person who has these beliefs, when it comes to black children. And y'all talk about, you often hear people up here talking about, oh, you up here tap dancing in front of the white man and all this whole kind of foolishness. She's literally going to be spewing this shit in front of the white man, not on YouTube, not on the internet, not on Twitter, not on IG. She's going to be standing in front of a classroom, giving lectures, teaching subjects. All right.
Say, is this one of those times? Is this one of those instances we can ask who hurt you? Who hurt you, girl?
This is what she's going to be doing. Y'all heard the synapses in the beginning of the show. If you didn't, you got to rewind it back because I'm not about to go through it again. But what I did do is I put the articles in there. I also put the article of the senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, because I'll say this again. I actually read his stuff first. And he was talking about her article. And once he started talking about her article, before I even know who she was, I knew she was a black woman. I knew she was, because only a black woman with a PhD would be talking this kind of crap. All right. And this is a tenured person. This is a postdoctoral professor here. Okay. Only a black one would be saying that fathers don't matter and black children don't benefit from two-family homes. Not even a tenured white woman would be saying that about black people. They just wouldn't. And then on top of that, she talks about these bonds that these women should be getting for the children. Instead of encouraging marriage, let's encourage women to have babies, because see, we'll give them a bond and everything will go away.
Do you remember the date and the title of the article in the New York Times? I have untethered access to it. So,
oh, you have it. I didn't used up all my shit.
No, I used to work. I used to work for the New York Times. I used to work for the Times.
Use my shit up. So all right, let me see. Let me see if I can find it.
So that way
it's called The Myth of the Two-Parent Home, I believe. Let me see. Yes, that's what it's called. The Myth of the Two-Parent Home. That's the name of the article. That's the name of the article. And her name is Dr. Christina Cross. Yeah, I used my damn access up. God damn it. I forgot.
Let's see.
Yeah, she wrote an op-ed.
Okay, I'll have to find it because it's not coming directly up in the search. But when I'll keep looking for it as we talk.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I didn't even know anything about this lady. I found out about her while I was gathering, some web pages about this topic, and I happened to come across the senior fellow of the American Enterprise Institute, and he was talking about her article.
Right.
And I was like, okay, damn, this is what she's talking about. But if y'all want to come through,
actually, I was able to find it.
Got it?
Yep.
All right. If y'all want to come through, man, y'all know what to do, man. Y'all know what to do. It's prophetofthought@yahoo.com. That's prophetofthought, one word, no caps, at yahoo.com. Come on up. Speak your piece, brothers. What say you? What say you, brothers?
I mean, to me, she just don't even use common sense. She just don't even use common sense, right? You take family income. Just take family income, right? When families split apart, right, that means the expenses double. That's what that means, right? The expenses double. That means that whatever you could have been spending on the expenses in another, in one area, that could automatically go to the kids, thus taking down the children's economic stressors, right? But what does she say? Give the damn kids a bond.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's their money right there. That is their money right there. But no, kick the daddy out of the home, right? Now, think about this for half a second. They have been spending trillions of dollars making sure that black families, every year, that black families don't succeed. Why do you think that's so? Why? I mean, people in the chat, just, why do you think they spend trillions of dollars? Because they know that, first of all, black folks will fall for any goddamn thing that's popular. They know this. So they go on this marketing campaign, right? Now, the name of white supremacy racism is about profit and losses. That's what it's about. And they will spend trillions of dollars a year keeping us oppressed because they know that if they don't spend that money, their losses will be greater. Their losses will be greater than the trillions of dollars that they already spend. So if they spend nothing keeping us oppressed, they're more likely probably to get wiped off this planet in a short amount of time. They know this. And here it is. We feed right into it by listening to sisters open their mouth. Listen, don't listen to a woman who got hair weave. That's the bottom line. Okay? Anybody that put glue in their hair is not even worth listening to. I mean, she's some type of stupid. She's some type of mentally ill person. Stop listening to these people. Anybody who got to make up their face and look like a clown every day, stop listening to them. Just stop. I mean, if you was to meet me out in the street and I had makeup on my face and hair weaving my head, I think that you'll probably say, yeah, I'm not going to listen to you. Right?
If they gotta weave, don't believe.
Don't believe. Just don't listen to them. Okay? All you have to do is say, yeah, well, you're not really worth listening to. Well, why not? Because you ain't got sense enough to have your own hair in your head. You're putting somebody else's hair in your head, and now you are an expert on families.
See, my thing is this. I mean, I think we have enough. All right. I think we have enough people who are anti-father, anti-family, two-parent homes, anti-marriage, anti-development of children, because see, that shows the apathy right there. And not only is the apathy already permeating through many parts of Black society, you now have this sociology professor who is proclaiming this crap. You have a tenured professor saying this stuff, putting this thought out there in front of people. Because I don't think that she's just going to not talk about this kind of stuff, once she gets into Harvard. I just don't believe that. She's going to go there and she's going to be giving lectures because she's done quite a few of them. She's done quite a few of them already. And this is her core beliefs. She wants to put it out there in the air that, guess what? Black fathers are not needed, because she specifically says in her writings that Black children don't necessarily reap the benefits of having a father. They don't necessarily reap the benefits of having a two-parent home. She said Black children specifically.
And what benefits
is what this
are those?
woman believes.
What benefits are those?
No, she says there are no benefits for black for two-parent homes. There are no benefits for the father being there. And she's talking about, like I said, black children specifically. In her writings, she writes that black children are not necessarily going to be better off if they have two parents.
Oh, okay. So she's out. She's obviously friends with Gabriel Union. You can tell that these two knuckleheads run together.
This is what this woman believes, man.
You know, it's like a goddamn peanut in the canteen. You know what I'm saying? That's every time you talk about the things that comes out of her mouth, right? And I'm going to just hold it to what I'm going to believe what you're saying is true, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just sounds like it's a peanut in the canteen every time she says something. And I'm reading because I'm actually reading her abstract. I'm reading where she gets her data from, and I just see this damn peanut just rattling around in this goddamn canteen.
Oh, you're reading.
Okay.
You're looking at the article, right?
Oh no, I look past the article and I'm
Okay.
reading her abstract.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so and it's
This lady's a piece of work, man.
I mean, she is a piece of work.
Yeah, this lady's a piece of work here, man. Y'all need to get up on her, man. Her name is Christina Cross. I don't think she's going away. All right. You heard it here first. You will see this lady again. You will see this lady on TV. You might even see her up on here, and she will be up here, and she's going to be pushing that freaking narrative that black fathers do not matter, y'all. She's going to be doing it. So you need to know her name. This is the one, Christina Cross, the postdoctoral fellow and assistant professor of sociology at Harvard University. She's going to be pushing this narrative that you black men do not matter in your children's lives. You do not matter in your child's life. In fact, the child may be better off if you're not there. That's what she says, black men. That's what she says. Get familiar with her. She's not going away. She's going to be around for quite some time. I'm telling you. She's going to be around for quite some time. And I see y'all brothers requesting the email. Check your email, brothers. Check your emails. Check your emails. I am sending the link forthwith, brothers.
Okay.
Check
so
your emails.
So I'm looking at and I want you to share my screen as soon as you can, bro, because I want you guys to actually see this. Because it's a 4.5 million number of single mother households, right? And the data, children in single parent families by race, right? Okay, so here's the children in single parent families by race in the United States, right? And you have Black and African American. The number's at 65%. See, from 2008, roughly all the way up till 2017, it's between 65 and 67%. 65 to 67% of our families who don't have both parents in the household. And then you wonder why our culture is decimated. You wonder why our communities are decimated. Right? As opposed to non-Hispanic white people. 20%, 23, between 23 and 24%. See that? Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, even Hispanic Latino, they teeter between 38 and 40%, 42%. 38 to 42%. This is where they're teetering. Okay. The numbers are unacceptable. The numbers are unacceptable. And listening to these type of females, I'm telling y'all, man, I'm telling you, chicks that are weaving their hair just absolutely don't fucking listen to them. They're stupid. Because it's a direct correlation with the children dying, right? There's a direct correlation with the children dying and fathers not being there.
Yep. And I just posted an article, y'all, from the Harvard Gazette where Professor Cross is saying why living in a two-parent home isn't a cure-all for Black students. That's another article of hers, all right? Because this is her thing. Notice she's got multiple. It's not like she just got this one, outlier article. No, this is her thing, Black men. This is this lady's thing. All right. This is one of many articles that she writes in these papers. All right. And she's in mainstream papers. She's not just in, the Harvard Gazette. She's in the New York Times. All right. Writing this garbage. So just saying.
December 9th, 2019. I will post it in the chat. And I will also put it in the back chat. That you guys should have it. And then I'll post it in the private chat.
And guess what, folks? People are accepting it because there's another story here where she won a dissertation award. Yeah. She won a dissertation award for this stuff that she spews. I will put the link to that in there as well.
See, and these are things that she says. She says that in fact, using over 30 years of national data from the panel study of income dynamics, that she tracks children's households living arrangements from birth to adulthood. And she demonstrated that the family structure has a weaker relationship to the educational success of Black adolescents than of white adolescents. Well, okay, that may be true. Okay, that may be true. But here's the deal. No one is talking about the goddamn United States government coming down on the backs and oppressing Black men. So no one is talking about the years. And I mean, because I don't think people are even looking at, let's say, even prior to COVID, there was 4 million Black men screaming that they didn't have jobs. 4 million. I think it lasted for some 5 or 6 years. Saying year after year, we don't have any jobs. No one is hiring us. Right? What do they want us to do? See, she doesn't take those type of dynamics into consideration. Instead, you want to try to compare in those type of scenarios apples to oranges. See, when Black men was asking for equality, white people and homosexuals, the LGBTQ community, they get involved, and all of a sudden it turns to civil rights. So no one wants to talk about how when you start doing the comparisons between Black and white, because this is what they like to do, compare Black against white. No one wants to talk about the fact that we're not equal. It's not apples to apples. It's actually apples to oranges. When we tried to make it apples to apples, here's what everybody else said: civil rights. Without Black folks thinking that they have been trying to pass that same Civil Rights Act since the 1800s. It took them 100 years to pass that Civil Rights Act. See, this is the problem. Black men, we're going to perish for a lack of knowledge. And if you don't wake up and if you don't stop chasing pussy all the damn time, people like this broad who put glue in her hair, they're going to win.
I just stuck an article in there, folks. It's from the Institute for Family Studies, and the article is titled, "Sorry, Harvard, Fathers Still Matter, Including Black Fathers." And I believe this is a response to Professor Cross's assertion that, you know, us black men, we don't make a difference in our children's lives. So you might want to check that one out too. You might want to check that one out too. A lot of links going up in the chat tonight, y'all. Yeah. So a lot of stuff, man, you can go and check out, read for yourself. You don't have to listen to X. Go ahead and read these articles for yourself, pull them up, and you know, figure out what you think, man, and get back at me, man. Get back at me.
And for all of those who like to read what white people see, I read what they read. Right? I actually read what they read. All of these peer reviews, you know, their journals of medicine and all of this other stuff. I actually read this. And I posted the link so that way that you guys can start reading what it is that I'm reading. See, I may sound crazy. It may sound like I'm pulling a lot of shit out my ass, but I'm not. This is real. This is what they're studying, and this is what their conclusions are. And all you have to do is hit right here on the PDF, and it'll come up. Well, on this one here, they want you to pay for it. But these things, they will come up.
Yeah, they will.
And when they come up, just take a quick read, and then you'll see what it is that they're doing out here.
Yeah. And she's pretty prolific, man. I mean, you put her name in the Google search box, man. She comes up. She's won all types of awards, and you know, like I said, she's a postdoctoral freaking sociology professor about to start teaching this crap at Harvard. I mean, and brothers who requested the link, man, check your emails, man. Check your emails, brothers. And there's Brother Rael. What's good with it, Brother Rael?
Brother Rael, what's happening?
Peace, brother. Xavier.
What's good with it, man?
Peace to the panel chat as well. I don't know what more we need to see, man. This is just further evidence that you really have two distinct Black Americas. For all the people who love to criticize Black fathers, it's very strange though, because on the one hand, they've been complaining about Black men as fathers and being deadbeats, and then turn around and saying they don't need Black fathers. So you already know in that type of scheme, Black men aren't expected to win. Period.
Yeah.
Like either way, you're losing. Either way, you're losing, because if they say you ain't around, that means you're not capable. If you are around, you're more like an ornament on a Christmas tree. I mean, you're there for just decoration. They don't even value. First of all, when you look at a lot of the world's major religious spiritual systems, I don't care what your religion is. Many of the world's spiritual systems has a male as the creator God force, the masculine aspect. So to try to take away the masculine aspect of any group is basically to have a ship with no captain in terms of your group. Men provide the direction that the group needs to go in, but you can't provide direction to a group of women who don't want to follow your lead. And it would just, this whole thing would be a whole lot easier. And I think things would probably many people go their separate ways if many of these women just will say they just don't want to follow black men's lead. They don't believe that black men are capable of leading, although we have a whole bunch of years post-slavery showing exactly how capable we are of leading. It would be just a whole lot easier because at that point, black men were just like, okay, I'm taking my ball, I'm going home.
Yeah.
But they're kind of, they say one thing and then they say two different things. This environment, as far as the pandemic, has forced them to try to come back to the table, as we've seen on Kevin's show. But his show is just a microcosm of how far apart black men and black women are as it relates to mating, marriage, the expectations. Many of these chicks they can't even qualify to be a girlfriend, let alone a wife. A wife is just on a whole different platter. I know both of you men are married up here. I've been married before. We all know what marriage requires. So it's well beyond some girlfriend boyfriend bullshit. You don't get to pick up your ball and go home when you're mad at your spouse. Like, y'all got to work that shit out. Your lives are intricately intertwined with one another. Finances, if you have children, you have to be for the greater good, and the greater good is the family. But what these women are showing is that they're doing something that you just you don't see in normal species type behavior. The unwillingness to be in a group in terms of a family, like this is some really truly abnormal stuff. Like, this is beyond just black men and women not getting along with each other. We're talking about the most basic unit on planet Earth, which is the family structure. And you're talking about women who are completely, from a collective standpoint, against the family structure. And I know, you two gentlemen have children. This is the world, the black world that your children have to grow up in and contend with in the future based on their ages. And this is not really boding well for a future of any group that was dealing with this particular type of issue. And so I saw the Gucci, the House of Gucci movie today. It was a great movie too. I had no idea about the story of Gucci and what happened, and how basically it is a family business. And because of certain things that took place within the family, I don't want to tell the story. They basically don't have control of the business anymore. There's nobody named actual Gucci that's a part of the business Gucci because of stupid family squabbling bullshit.
Thanks for telling the story, man.
No, that's already known out there. That's not the movie. That's not the movie.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But it was just like, I had no clue that there's even, because you see the name so much, I just assume like, man, this family got it going on and they got it all together. Man, this company, man, is bringing in $60 billion annually, and nobody biologically is connected to the company. It just goes to show you how important the family dynamics are and how devastating they can be when you don't get it right. So to just completely disavow the most basic unit. When you see lions, they're grouped together as family. You see buffalo, they're grouped together as family. You see horses and zebras and all these different types of animals out here grouped together as family. We know about bears and females and their bear cubs and how protective they are. We're dealing with a person or being that is completely against nature. Like, this is absolutely insane to literally try to make an academic argument as to why fathers are not necessary. I mean, I never thought I would see the day that this stuff would happen, but man, this.
Well, I wouldn't have, because like I said, when I started out, I was reading the brother's article from the American Enterprise Institute, and then it just kind of spilled over to talking, about her. But I wouldn't even give a damn about this lady if she was just some female YouTuber up here just yapping her gums, because I don't even think these freaking women on YouTube have that much freaking influence. But you're talking about a tenured sociology professor who's about to start at Harvard. She's given multiple lectures. She's written multiple articles in mainstream newspapers. Okay. She's got articles flowing through the goddamn New York Times with this crap. And all of her articles are about the same stuff. Every single one is how your kids don't need two parents. How especially black kids, y'all don't benefit from your father being around. We just need to give these black women money and forget about the fathers. In fact, I think in one of her articles, she said that having two parents is a detriment to black kids. That's why I'm on this shit, because, like I said, if she was just some YouTuber talking this crap or on TikTok some damn where, I wouldn't even give a damn. But when you got somebody winning dissertation awards and writing op-eds in the New York Times, I think it's something that black men should be kind of paying attention to, because she's about to be spewing this crap a lot. Guaranteed. You heard it here first. You will hear about this woman again. Remember her name. Her name is Christina Cross, professor at Harvard. You will hear about her again. I'm telling you, brothers. I'm telling you.
Okay, so I was just doing some a little research here about these marriage initiatives, right? And this is the brainchild of George Bush.
George Bush, yep.
Okay. Now, they're talking about the importance of marriage, mother and father, right? Then it says that children raised by never married mothers are 7 times more likely to live in poverty than children raised by their biological parents' intact marriages. Overall, approximately 80% of long-term child poverty in the United States occurs among children from broken or never formed families. All right. Don't believe that that's true. So they often want to argue child poverty, right? It says, and a typical non-married father earns $17,500 per year. At the time his child is born, some 70% of poor single mothers would be lifted out of poverty if they were married to the children's father. Period. Hey, you get married, you're instantly out of poverty. Why is that such a novel? Listen, ladies, we have more resources than you do. The world is geared that way. Men wake up every day, we have a problem. What's the problem? Need more money. Go after it. Fix your problem. Your mind is not wired like that. Your mind is not wired logically like that. The government knows this. Look, it's like talking sense to dents, man. It's like talking sense to dents. But this is an emotionally charged woman who is trying to emotionally charge other women, especially black women, because you're hurt. You're hurt. Ladies, You do not have a penis. Stop trying to envy our shit and embrace yours. Embrace what you have. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. In fact, niggas is killing each other over it. Right? Embrace who you are as a woman. Accept who you are as a woman. Because if you don't, you're going to keep having ragtag head bitches like this send you down a road or a path of destruction. And while you're headed down that way and she's collecting her money and trying her best to live how it is that she lives, she's laughing all the way to the bank. Yep, just like that chick that was on TLA's site. I seen her telling her granddaughter, like, you need to be quiet because your mom is in there and she's trying to land and she's trying to get another guy to get married to, or some dumb shit she was saying. And the baby didn't even look 2 years old. And she's talking this shit to the baby. These women are leading you down. Listen, stop leading to women. Stop listening to them. And I think that that's kind of hard to do. Man, shit, I don't know what the hell. I don't know how to fix this, man. I don't know how to fix this because this is.
Well, there is no fixing it. The only fix is to be aware of it, because I mean, I'll say again, I mean, this isn't just some YouTuber, okay? This isn't some YouTuber. All right. This is a studied person, a tenured person. Like I said, this person has done multiple lectures, and guess what? I say again, she's on her way to Harvard to talk this crap at a very prestigious university. Very prestigious. All right. She starts next month, as a matter of fact. But we've been joined by my brother, the one and only Info Man is here. What's good with it, brother Info?
Just real quick.
What's up?
Real quick. If I can interject just real quick, bro. And I know you're gonna make your introduction. She didn't offer a marriage bond.
No.
She didn't say, well, how about we incentivize people to get married and maybe give them a bond or something like that?
No, she said a baby bond for babies born. Nothing to do with marriage. Nothing at all. In fact, she was against the proposed marriage incentives. She thought that giving the baby bond was a better idea. That's her position. The baby bonds are a better idea than women being married or incentives to be married, because she thinks that that's better for children. And according to her, that article, a two-parent home isn't the cure for anything. It's not the cure for anything. But like I said, we've been joined by my brother, the one and only Info Man. What's good with it, brother Info?
Man, what's happening?
Thanks, what's up, man? It's all good. Let me just say this, because I don't stay on panels that long anymore, because I just think it becomes a circular conversation. Look, brothers, we know that we have women, we have people out here who are pushing narratives to destroy the black male's image, to send us away, to undermine us, undervalue us, underestimate us, marginalize us. And what we need to do is continue to push the narratives on whatever medium that we're using, podcast mediums, YouTube, whatever you're on. We have to combat this narrative with what we do and say out of our mouths, and how we push the importance of fatherhood. And we must celebrate ourselves as fathers. And wherever you are on these YouTube streets, where you may have women who will say things like, black men ain't doing this and that, remember, they take the minimum of us and make us the maximum, and take the maximum of us that are on our damn job doing our shit and make us minimize what we're doing. And we cannot let that narrative stand. So we got to combat it through our words, our thoughts, sharing videos like this. And then we have to combat it through our actions in the community. the things that we do. Now, I'm a father, and most of these narratives do not fit the reality. A child needs both parents. Now, I had a chance to read her article that you had up earlier, Teapot. Not earlier, but it was another one that she wrote. Let me see this one right here that I looked at for about a minute. Let me see which one was that? It was the let me see here. I had this article. Oh, here it is. It's the one, why living in a two-parent home isn't a cure all for Black students. Now, when I read through that article, I did get a sense in this particular article where she was focusing sort of on the economics of it, meaning that if you got a two-parent household that's Black versus a one-parent household, that if both households are living in economic poverty plus all the social ills that we have to deal with, her position is that even if that Black children who grow up in poor Black families don't get the full benefit, according to her, of a two-parent household, from an economic point of view, they can't cash in on that benefit financially. Now, yes, it is true. If you have a struggling single parent in a struggling two-parent household, from a financial point of view, it is going to be a hardship for that child. But what's missing in the component is that when you take the money component out of it, a child still needs the emotional development, the emotional leadership, and character which a father brings to the table to build. There have been throughout our history as Black people in this country where we've had families that were poor, didn't have a lot of money, but the father being in the household, even if that father was struggling, that father being in the household, that intact household, was still important to the upbringing of that child, because especially if the father was trying to do something and he wasn't a deadbeat, but he was just out there in the world, you know how it is for us historically. We're the last hired and we're the first fired. And a lot of Black men have gone through that in this society. So that's the component that she's missing. Another component to this that we got to understand is that I think she's a millennial. She's a younger generation. Got to understand, Brother Prophet of Thought, me and you, we older cats here. These younger generation, they don't have the experience, they don't have the foresight or the position to know what they're talking about, because they don't have complete experience from a generational point of view. They haven't lived enough life, and they have not lived through enough eras to see where there is incorrect information that they're putting in their studies, because a lot of these folks, they're repeating what I would say, they're repeating white supremacy or white racist talking points. And the reason why I say that is because these are the same talking points that drove Black men out of the household when welfare came into the fray, and they pushed Black men out, and you had some Black women saying they didn't need Black men anymore. This is a further way to convince Black women in our community that we are not needed. Because why? You can get the baby bonds just like you could get that welfare back in the day. So it's just another way to push us out and make us irrelevant. And I think really, when you look at all this intersexuality shit today, they're in general, they're trying to make men irrelevant anyway, because everybody's playing around with their gender. 1 minute you're a woman and you look like a woman, but no, I'm a man. So they're already confusing our society. And I'll end there with that and just say that she is dangerous, but it doesn't surprise me that she's tied in with the Biden administration and his damn initiatives, that she's tied in with all these little psychological organizations who have a history in oppressing our people, and she's feeding right into it, and they're going to give her a reward. They don't give awards to Black people who challenge the system. They give you awards when you acquiesce with the system, and that's exactly what she's doing. So we must combat it with talking about what black men are doing. And today is 115 years of my brotherhood. And we've been doing the damn thing for 115 years in this country with transforming the lives and minds and opportunities of young black males. And we've been doing it and we've been achieving it. All of her studies don't mean shit because I'm doing it and we've been doing it empirically in real fucking time, making changes. Don't buy into the hype of this young sociologist. And sociology, keep this in mind, is one of those professions that does not get the same type of cachet as like psychology or a so it's all objective by people's opinions that they put into it. So brother prophet of thought, I thank you for letting me come up and give my diatribe. You're doing
Absolutely.
God's work here by exposing this young lady so that we can all recognize her when she comes on TV. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be black women out there within YouTube and off of these social medias that are going to agree with everything that she just said. Because why? This is a black woman that is making it that's taking off the table the accountability of also black women by saying you don't need to be held accountable because one, you don't need black men and they don't make a difference whether they're in the household or not for your impoverished child. And that's just fucking bullshit. And that's what it is. And we got to combat that. We can talk about it tonight, but make sure you go back to your YouTube channels and you combat this. You do when brothers are doing, and T.P.O.T, you've done this with me. When brothers are doing Father's Day shows, when brothers are talking about black boys on their channels, get your ass over to our channels and support us, because a lot of times we ain't getting no support. T.P.O.T should have 100 black men watching this channel tonight and sharing it out as I am. Why is it that there's not hundreds of Manosphere brothers and all type of brothers on YouTube over here tonight to hear what T.P.O.T is talking about? Why is it that if we do a channel or a video about what black men are doing, or when I did a video about black men going into different fields of occupation like semiconductor and microchipping, I got a decent amount of people that came over, but it should have been more. But if I do a critique about R. Kelly or some other pop culture thing, you'll come at the hundreds. Makes no damn sense, T.P.O.T. I thank you, brother. Keep doing God's work.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, brother Info.
Appreciate you too, brother. Take care.
Yeah, man. My brother.
Info, man. Thanks for popping up.
Yeah, Info pop in and say his shit and bounce. That's kind of how he does it. Go ahead. You got it.
I was on the Roger Report show recently. Shout out to him. And I was saying how many of the adult sons and daughters of these types of women who echo this mindset are in a very strategic position to force change. Many of these types of sons and adult sons and daughters who never knew their fathers, who never had their fathers around. It's sketchy. First and foremost, if your mom can't give you a direct answer on what happened between her and your father, more than likely she's the problem. More than likely she's the problem. And because you're that son and daughter, you have a right to ask what happened. Don't feel like you can't ask these types of questions, because you have every right to know. Because if your mama can be all in your business as an adult, well, you got a right to ask where your daddy at. I mean, that's the least she can tell you is that question. And if she can't even answer that question, then she's pretty much answered the damn question. And I know for a fact that many of these adult sons and daughters have much more leverage than they're willing to use. Because most of these women, when they get older, we're seeing it now. We're seeing the articles about how Black women are aging, into loneliness and broke. And who are they more likely to depend on? Because they ain't gonna be able to depend on the state. See, the state will use them when they're young, but when they're old and they can't give them anything, they're gonna look to the moms are gonna look to your adult sons and daughters for money. And that's where the rubber's going to meet the road, because at that particular point, when she's old, health issues, do you have the money to take care of your mom for 20, 25 years, bad health? Do you have that kind of money? And so you have much more of a leverage, at this time, if your mom is in late 40s, 50s, because she is going to depend on you. And you have a right to decide if you want to foot that bill. If you decide to foot that bill, you better get some questions answered. Otherwise, she gonna be like a lot of these women out here who went the wrong direction and go into either a bad kind of nursing home or shelters. I can guarantee you, if you go to any of these shelters where all these women are, and notice how they don't go to these type of shelters to interview these women, because they don't want that conversation coming out. And ask those women, did they have an opportunity to be in successful marriages with men who wanted them? Many of those women will say yes, because they're at a point where they just can't lie anymore. It's over with. They're homeless. Like, that's one of the first things that men will want to do for a woman they love is provide her a covering, not with his presence, but with his resources too. And a house is a resource, apartment is a resource, and you can go from there. So you're in a much more strategic position, because your mother's going to need you. She's definitely going to need your money, if anything else. She might not need your love from you, but she's going to need your money, and you're going to be able to dictate how things go. And you can require things like, I'm going to need you to get in contact with my father, and we're going to have a conversation. Like, those are things that you can actually demand, because you're in a position, because you got the leverage. Unfortunately, so many adult Black sons and daughters are so scared of their mothers, they don't use the power that they have as an adult. Your mom can't whoop your ass as an adult. I mean, if you let her,
it doesn't matter. They're still afraid of her, man. They're afraid of her when she's that little old church lady that's 68 years old. They still fear her, man. She's damn near 70, and you're afraid of her.
Because she'll call a wrath of God on your ass. You better not say nothing. You better not talk back to your mama.
Yeah, she's got you in like this psychological freaking chokehold, man, that you just cannot break. You cannot break the spell of mama. She's got you under this spell, but everybody knows me, okay, what I think of these old mamas. Everybody on the internet knows. I mean, she's got you under a spell, man. And see, she's got you under this witchcraft of a spell. And not only that, throughout the whole time, she has total apathy. That's why I named this what I did tonight. She has total and complete apathy for the family structure, man.
Right.
Because if she did, she wouldn't do the shit she does, man. She wouldn't have the kids the way she has them. She wouldn't run through the men that she run through. She wouldn't. She has total apathy about family structure. She thinks about it when her ass get about 45, but now it's too late. So she rides 45 out as long as she can, and the next thing you know, she's 60. And now, like you said, the reality has set in. All right, the reality has set in that she has blown it. She has blown it. Her apathy for those whole freaking 20, 30 viable years that she has blown it due to her apathy for structure, man. She's blown it.
Yeah. I wanted to, if you don't mind, I wanted to read something right quick that really taps into why, especially from a male standpoint, like why these spaces are so important. Um, I was actually talking to a sister in Nigeria today, and we were talking, and she was talking about a brother from America who had came over there. He initially had met with an I want to say Ethiopian woman, and he didn't like her because he felt she nagged too much, and he didn't want to put up with that. So he had started talking to this one particular chick in Kenya. So he came over. He had been talking to her for 6 months. Came over about a month ago, and she said, "Man, that dude married that woman today." The brothers are making some serious moves. And it's interesting that many of the brothers who are making moves in terms of non-ADOs are actually dealing with women from actual cultures who have traditional cultures. That's one thing you're going to find on the continent. You're going to find traditional culture, family being at the center of everything. And he didn't play, like he was on it. And I wanted to, the reason why I brought up Africa, because I wanted to talk about how important the initiation rites really are. And this is from a book called Rites and Symbols of Initiation, The Mysteries of Birth and Rebirth. And this is just detailing one particular ceremony in this particular tribe. And it's just a little short little part, and I'm gonna tie it back into this other book. It said the meaning of this first part of the ceremony, the separation of the neophytes from their mothers, seems quite clear. What we have is a break, sometimes quite a violent break, with the world of childhood, which is at once the maternal and female world, and the child's state of irresponsibility and happiness. So listen to what they're saying. The female world and the child's state of irresponsibility and happiness, of ignorance and asexuality. The break is made in such a way as to produce a strong impression both on the mothers and the novices. In fact, in the case of nearly all Australian tribes, the mothers are convinced that their sons will be killed and eaten by a hostile and mysterious divinity whose name they do not know, but whose voice they have heard in a terrifying sound of the bull roars. They are assured, of course, that the divinity will soon resuscitate the novices in the form of grown men, that is, of initiates. But in any case, the novices die to childhood, and the mothers have a foreboding that the boys will never again be what they were before initiation, their children. In this other book called The Emotionally Absent Mother, I just want to read this quick part to just tie this in. The author says, although we hate to consider it, on a rare occasion, there are mothers who allow a child to be the target of some kind of abuse by another because that child represents her own self-hate. The initiation process, especially for boys, is critical in terms of their self-development. It is critical. This is why the military works so well, because it's the break. It's the break from your mom, because you need to become a man for the group, to protect the group, to be a man for a woman, or if you want to get wise, for those women in the group. You're supposed to have that break. The problem when you have women who are echoing this particular type of sentiment academically, what they're basically saying is, is that children are supposed to be set up to be their mom's slaves for the rest of their mom's lives. And then when their moms leave this world, the children are just left here to flounder and not know what to do with their lives because their whole world orbits around their dysfunctional mother who is going against her nature. Your mother cannot help you if she is going against her nature. Matter of fact, this woman, and that is abuse. That is abuse to keep you from your father. That is abuse. And she's participating in this abuse. And notice how they don't never want to say that's what it is when it comes to women keeping their children from the father. They never call it that. They never call that child abuse. But there's from a psychological perspective, when women are participating in their own children's abuse, the psychologists are saying, when it comes to those particular children, that child represents her own self-hatred. Think about how powerful that is. When your mother allows you to be abused, whether physically, sexually, emotionally, and she's participating, obviously she's participating in it. It represents her own self-hatred. This is why these spaces are so critical, especially for men. Because regardless of what the women are doing on the other side, and they can be goofy and silly all they want to, that's their life, and they're gonna have a tough road ahead. But you as men, you had better figure out your life and your purpose, especially when you have women academically who are bold enough to even write something like this and put it out there in the ether. Yeah. You had better make sure you have your stuff together, because when you look at the women like her, you are seeing that you have no ally on that particular side.
And it's not that she's just writing it, man. She's writing it in major publications. It's not like she's just like writing it in some school paper. I mean, they are printing her stuff in the New York Times. Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, she has multiple articles in multiple places. I mean, this isn't just some person who just happened to write an op-ed one day. I mean, she's got multiple articles out there, man. I mean, multiple, and all of them come from the same angle. Oh, go ahead, brother.
But I'm going to interject because I know where this shit comes from. See, look, man. Every time a sister say something, you best believe that the shit that's flying out of her mouth, the reason why it sounds dumb is because it's coming from a dumbass white man. Mm. The shit that she just said, do y'all know that I actually found where this shit actually comes from? Mm. Do me a favor, bro. Share my screen.
Is she repeating someone else's?
Share my screen, shall we?
Nonsense. Have we discovered plagiarism?
we just discovered where the hell this bullshit comes from. Everybody, what I want you guys to do is to look up the Center for Global Policy Solutions. The Center for Global Policy Solutions. Now, I just Googled it, and this is their mission: driving society toward inclusion. Are you understanding that? Just take that and listen to what these people are out here doing. This diabolical bullshit here. Now, this is a research study that was done at Duke University, right? And as I'm reading this nice little 12 pages, Beyond Broke, what do I find here on page 6? Enact a universal baby bond trust program to progressively endow every American child with an account. This did not come out of her stupid ass head. She's regurgitating something that some white people done at this goddamn place where they're trying to include everybody, every homosexual, make black people this, make black people that.
When was this written? What you have up here? When was this written?
All right. Let me grab it here. Let me see here. Okay, these are the PhDs that actually wrote it. Okay. They don't give unless it's at the end here. Let's see.
No date.
No date.
Hmm.
But it will be mighty interesting. You see, I mean, she does. I mean, she got weave in her head, so she don't have an original thought. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit. I mean, things are just some telltale signs, right? But these groups about who these people are, right? I didn't even know that these people existed.
Yeah, well, I didn't know she existed till earlier today when I, started, reading other stuff. I mean, I had no idea who this woman was until I started reading her stuff. I was like, man, this is, and like I said, I can't say this enough, man. She's on her way to Harvard, man, at the top of the year. She's going to be teaching this crap in Harvard, man. I'm telling you, she's going to be doing it.
I wonder if she did some study and research over at this particular place. Right. And I wonder if they gave her some sort of stupid ass certificate or something. Hey, go out and say what we're going to say here. Do you believe this? Yes. Well, why don't you, go teach this over at Harvard? Take it from Duke to Harvard. Right. But, you know, listen.
Well, hold on. What a lot of people got to realize too, you have to factor in the tenure process. Okay, so in these universities, many of these people are trying to get tenure. They're writing for tenure track, which means they have a job for life. Once they get that job for life, they pretty much can espouse whatever they want to, anything they want to, with the backing of the university. And when they get connected with the right people, they can get the research grants and all these type of things that can basically become rich espousing policies that basically keep problems going, because problems are money. So there is a vested interest in many of these types of people who more times than not are going to lean more on the liberal side. So what they're trying to do is, now, if you look in the private sector, what job can you work where you can have that job for the rest of your life? I mean, outside of damn Mike Krzyzewski, who was basically named the coach until he wanted to give it up at Duke, somebody like that. Where in the private sector can you work a job like that, where you can basically have a job for life? And many of these people are goofy people that are trying to write anything that sounds plausible.
Well, I can put the link to her CV, her curriculum vitae of all the stuff she did, because your CV is like a resume. Let me see. And we
There's a
have
financial
that.
interest for this stuff, because they can publish, they can get books published through universities. A lot of these people can get grants for the universities, which is money. I'm talking about money. Many universities are nonprofit, so that's just money just flowing into the schools. So, I mean, you're talking about millions and even billions of dollars flowing into schools. Many schools are in business too. They invest heavily in society as well. So you're talking about a machine, and so this is just one cog in that machine. And so that's why I keep trying to push, in terms of black men. I'm like, you're gonna have to build institutions that defend you, protect you, reflect you. And that means you're gonna have to build your own schools, your own hospitals, and your own banks, like you did before. Because we've done this before. The only difference now is looking like it's going to be much more separated. in terms of the female, because many of the females are showing that they're much more counter to the Black family structure, being led by a man. And so this is just where we are. And so I think that especially with spaces like these, like, they can't, tamp down the voices, because many people are getting information. Many people come to these spaces and be hearing things for the first time, like they had never even heard of, whether it's articles, books, or anything like that. So Black America collectively is just really truly under a spell. It's like they've been sleepwalking, and now, the manosphere, to a large degree is waking up. Whether people agree or disagree, it's at least waking people up to see, okay, at least you're much more informed now. Now you got to make your own choice at this particular point. And so we see where women like her are going. We know what they represent. It's not like we haven't had sellouts and mammy type figures all throughout, since the even plantation day. So they're gonna be there. It's just that brothers need institutions that can counteract. And
I know. I'm looking at her because I posted her CV, right? Because she has a public CV, curriculum vitae. Everybody knows what that is. That's sort of like a resume of all the stuff you've done. And she's gotten a lot of grants, man, from a lot of different places. Shit, that damn near close to $500,000. Pull that up, y'all. Check that up. Check that out. What I put in the chat. That is Dr. Cross's curriculum vitae, however it's pronounced. We all know that that's similar to a resume for particular people. And if you look at the grants that she's received, you will be amazed how much money has flown through this, went through this woman's hand just for her to get up and talk this crazy, ridiculous nonsense that she's talking. And now she's right on her way to Harvard to talk about it some more. So you might want to take you might want to take a look at it, brother.
You also have to keep in mind too, because females like this, see, I'm familiar with these types because in college, I was on the pro-Black stuff hard in college. And what I found out was, they had a professor, female professors, they have males too, with the dashikis on and the kente claws, and they had African names, and they would sound like they were trying to embrace traditional African customs and traditions and values. But what you saw in the classroom and what they were teaching was this very same stuff, but they cloaked it in this pseudo Blackness. Because when you look at what they espouse, and then you actually talk to Africans and compare it to what their families are representing, it's the complete opposite of what they represent. It was nothing but a ruse to just get you in and ultimately corrupt you. And what makes it so sinister is the fact that these people know all the issues that Black people have. They've done the research. They looked at the history and all that. They had all that knowledge. I knew some professors that was going to Africa, talking to the Babalawos out there, trying to get information from them to get to see how can we best educate Black students in the United States. They were like, as far as men were concerned, they were literally, some of them were trying to get that information because they really wanted to help Black people. But many of the people who actually get the money in terms of funding and grants and stuff like that will still be the females, even though you had men who were espousing the pro-Black rhetoric and some who were sincere and genuinely wanted to help. They weren't getting the financial support like that. They weren't getting the grants. But I saw pro-Black female professors, PhDs and all, getting money, getting grants left and right, going to Africa, and then going to Africa using the Black American face to go to places like Africa and to try to corrupt and sow seeds of discontent in the women against the men, literally trying to take the same programming from America and take it to the continent using a Black face, because if they can use a Black face, they can't say, oh, it was a racist white person. They can say it was a nigger from America that came over here. And so I've seen that impact like that. And so make no mistake about it, like these women hold a lot of sway because they're getting the dollars. They're literally getting the money to be able to keep the BS going because they're getting funded, even especially at this level. Because the college, the university level, it basically codifies everything. It basically gives the seal of approval of the BS. It basically said like, well, I learned this in college, so it has to be right, because that's how silly their minds are. They don't know how to critically think and break things down. Like, wait, hold up. Like the fact that she can even espouse the lack of a necessity of a father shows how really conditioned and programmed she truly is. So
yeah, that's her body of work, man.
garbage.
That's her body of work. This is kind of where she comes from. What we looking at now, the man. What you got up here?
Well, let's look at this for a second, right? Because they said that we want to make refundable tax credit expansions permanent to increase the earned income child tax credit for childless workers, right?
I saw that too when you were scrolling through. I was hoping you touched on it.
Yeah, right. So it says, no one who works every day in America should live in poverty. Yet, this is a reality. In this case, for far too many, and disproportionately true with communities of color. So few policies have been made more effective in pulling workers and children out of poverty than the earned income tax credit and the child tax credit, which were temporarily expanded in 2009. There have been growing concerns about the need to increase the earned income tax credit for childless workers who currently receive very little. Therefore, recent expansion to those tax credits should be permanent, and the earned income tax credit for childless workers, including non-custodial parents, should be increased as well. Do y'all get that? Do y'all see what the wordplay here is? Okay. Childless workers. Who's the number one group of childless workers in America? Black women. See, anytime you are seeing homosexuality, lesbianism, girl power shit that's all on the TV, all everywhere, right? Right? Oh, and how about this? White men. Hey, I'm going to take my children and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go be with this white guy. Or I'm going to go over here and be with this woman. Right? Because they're not giving black men jobs. See the wordplay? Childless workers. And then, wait a second. Now remember, we expanded the definition of parents. Remember, I talked earlier. The only people that are parents is the ones who are biological. But no, the government wants to go in and say, well, wait a second. This person here is also a parent. Yep, she's a non-custodial parent. So we want to give them money that the fathers should be receiving.
Absolute facts.
You see that? Now, when you get a divorce, they want to give the black woman the kids so that she gets the earned income child tax credit year after year. And what most guys don't realize is that even if you have children with a woman and she is not, and let's say you guys never been married, you can still alternate tax years. You can take the odd year, she can take the even year, and vice versa. Right? You can still do that. But the deal is that most guys don't even know that they can still alternate years because you are still taking care of a child. The earned income child tax credit is not hers simply because she has a vagina.
What you're going to see is you're going to see women taking men to court married to other women who are legally on paper a male, say it's better to sever the rights of the biological father and let this woman who legally has changed her identification to a man who is now considered the father be awarded that, saying it's better for the child to move on and be taken care of by this particular person that is considered a male, that is considered the father now. You're going to see men losing custody, losing
Now,
rights to their
I've
to
seen
own
that.
biological children to other women posing as men.
I've seen that, right? I've actually seen it happen one time. One time. So since COVID, you can watch the court cases and stuff like that on YouTube, right? So that's what I've kind of been doing, following these people on YouTube. Now, within 1 year, I would roughly say within 7 months, I've seen a father's rights being taken from him, right? And he was not even in the courtroom, nowhere around. They couldn't find the guy, whatever they said, right? And the female was granted custody. It was called conservatorship down here, right? So she's now a joint managing conservator. And within 7 months from there, I seen them pop back up in the courtroom, both of them getting a divorce. The two females getting a divorce. They took the rights from the guy. He wasn't there to defend himself. But then now, these two are getting a divorce. You see how it's not even working out? The scenario is not even working out either way for the kids because of the poor decisions that the mother is making. Oh, and by the way, none of this is telling these bitches to go get some counseling, go get some therapy. No money is allocated toward mental help for these women who is putting glue in their heads and crayons on their face.
Nope.
But no one wants to talk about that. There's not a dime allocated to that. Hey, good luck. Good luck, everybody. Just fucking good luck.
Yeah.
Well, all I know is this, right? When I see this kind of stuff, I really think that this kind of stuff matters. Like I said earlier, I mean, if it was just some chick on YouTube talking about this shit, I wouldn't even care. All right, because I've heard similar crap on YouTube, but this is beyond that, man. This is over the top stuff that this tenured sociology professor, and I say that, I put that in quotes because sociology is like what it's the study of relationships for the most part, right? If you're a sociologist, you study relationships to things. You study people's relationships to things. Because I know a couple psychologists, tenured psychologists, and what they always say about sociologists is that sociologists are the people who couldn't cut the psychology. Yeah, they couldn't cut it doing psychology. So because what psychology is the study of human behavior. All right, it's the study of human behavior. Sociology is the study of relationships, how people relate to other things. So
yes, the study of the study of the development, structure, and function of human society. Yep.
Yes. So these are basically these are basically glorified relationship experts, and for them to get up there and say these type of things and have this kind of platform, man, I think it's very important that we pay attention to this, because I'll say again, I've been saying it all night. You will see this woman again. You'll see this woman on TV. You'll see this woman in magazines. You might even see her ass on the internet. Now, I know a lot of you don't know who she is. You have no idea who she is. None whatsoever. But trust me, she thinks she knows who you are. And she also thinks that your children are better off without you.
Mhm.
She thinks your children are better off without you.
So I have a question. I have a question for the panel. Do you guys think that maybe her teaching this at Harvard is going to convince other whites to defund things that is responsible for maintaining good relationships, not only between parents, but between parents and children?
Mm, well, well, if you look at it from the black context, me personally, just from the things that I've been reading in terms of psychology, because when you read the psychology as it relates to narcissistic mothers, mothers with borderline personality disorder, when you look at the stuff on borderline personality disorder, they literally use the term witch to describe certain kinds of mothers. So even in the psychological lexicon, there is a definition for these types of moms who, for example, the types of moms who would actually turn a blind eye to their children's abuse and won't do anything. So they're actually referred to as witches. So the psychological community knows very well what these types of women represent. The problem is that we got too many people who want to be sociologists. It's you can't even really address the sociology if you don't address the psychology, because the sociological aspect of society is going to be determined based on the psychological functioning of the actual human. You can't get the one without the other. You're going to have to deal with the psychology first. Many of them don't really want to deal with the psychology because they know. Matter of fact, BGS had a video where he was talking about how the issues that was happening plaguing black boys, and how there are black women who are educated in terms of psychology, who they know the research, they know what the research is saying. And he was talking about this one particular feminist who was asked, what do y'all have to say about the black mothers who are bad mothers? Like, what do y'all have to say? And she specifically said, well, we don't want to criticize black moms because we don't want to make black women look bad. So you basically you're going to let black boys suffer because black women are so strong and independent and got this reputation for being perfect, that you don't want to actually call out the women who are actually, in many cases, abusing their sons. You don't want to hold them accountable. You don't want to call them to task. But the fact that she actually had one of these feminists actually admit that, shows you how deep this need to make black women perfect, even at the detriment of children. In any other group, you would think like, okay, when the detriment of children is on the table, okay, cooler heads will prevail. We need to talk as adults so we can actually hash this out. Even as it relates to children, get less benefit of the doubt, mercy, care, and concern than actual adult black females. They get less than the women.
Right, they get less.
And that lets you know that you're dealing with something that's being funded to be that way, because that's not normal. People normally will want to actually try to help children, look out for children and stuff like that. But when you got their own moms basically being subsidized to abuse them. I remember when I was in college, in Atlanta years ago. When I used to catch the train to come downtown, like, you would see.
Bro, wait a minute. Did you hear what you just said? You said the mothers are being subsidized to abuse the children.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. If you're subsidized to keep fathers away from children, that's abuse. That's abuse. That's abuse, plain and simple. Plain and simple. It's hard for you to even be fully connected to life itself without having either your father or some masculine figure around to help you, bring you into the adult world.
Yeah, because this is the thing. This is the thing. And I don't want people to get this misconstrued, all right? This is obviously a very accomplished young woman, right? She's been through a lot of shit. She's got tenure. And like I said, she's about to enter the postdoctoral fellowship at Harvard. Okay. She's a very accomplished person. I don't have a problem with her being an accomplished woman. None whatsoever. My problem is with the article she writes. My problem is with the information that she puts out there. My problem is with her point of view on Black fathers, on the family structure, on the family in a whole. All right. That is my problem with this woman. The things that she says, the angles she comes from. This woman literally says that fathers don't matter. She literally says that women are better off just getting money bonds for their babies than they possibly would be with marrying the father. She thinks that these women should not be encouraged to be married, but they should be encouraged to have babies. This is the stuff that she writes. This is what she thinks. Okay. And like I said, this is a tenured professor, a sociology professor. And she's going to be spewing this stuff like she's been spewing it for years. And I say again, this woman is writing op-eds in the New York Times, folks. She's doing that. It's not like she got
which is no small feat, by the way.
Exactly. The New York Times is a major
publication.
That's like the
pinnacle. Right.
It ain't YouTube, Negroes. I know we think YouTube is like the biggest thing ever. You know, us with our whole 500 subscribers, we think we're reaching the world. Okay. The New York Times has a greater reach than all this shit. Right. All right. So I want to see the people give her heat over this. I want to see the people go look her up and find out who she is, find out where she's working, find out where she's writing, flag her stuff. All right. Because her shit is getting out there to more people than your shit is, than my shit is. All right. Go and read some of this woman's stuff and you'll know what the hell I'm talking about.
She's accomplished, but she's not too bright.
Right. So, like I said,
man, they giving away degrees, man. Like damn, free government cheese back in the day.
Because this isn't a gender thing for me. All right. This is a position thing. This is a societal thing. Because
understand something.
She has apathy. She has straight apathy.
Right.
For the family structure, brother.
Now check this out.
And it shows in her writings.
This is something that Black women should not even be saying in the first fucking place. This is something that Black people should not be saying at all. Instead, let's talk about the amount of money that's being put up to drive us away from each other.
No, I actually think this is one of the best things that ever happened out here. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the present day structure of Black America was foisted upon Black men. Black men had no say so in the type of Black America they really could have outside of segregation, and even then, they were forced to deal with Black women. Like we make it seem like there was not Black people on plantation that didn't like each other, that was beefing with each other. And then all of a sudden they just got free and they just like, oh, well, we love each other because we Black and we was all on plantation and it's all good. No, there were some Black people on the plantation who actually missed being on the plantation. I've read slave narratives of women saying that if they could do it, if they could, they would go back to the plantation because it was better to be on the plantation than be free. So we have to really fully conceptualize. Don't focus on the white man so much. I know that's popular to do, but even Dr. Clark said years ago that in order for somebody to colonize you, you first have to stoop low enough to allow your oppressor to stand on your back. So he was saying that you are acquiescent too in your oppression. So we have to be very clear. Like many of these women never really wanted to be away from that structure. And this particular type of structure, even though it has the mask of education on it, it still looked like a plantation to me. Don't it feel like it to you? That's what it feels like to me. It feels like a woman who is comfortable in a master's house. She's getting her butter biscuits. She getting a sip of his tea. After he finished, she get the scraps, and she's been well kept. This is nothing but an academically kept woman. She's a side piece. She just has a PhD to mask the fact that she's a side piece. And so black men, look at all the sacrifices black men had to make, all the early deaths, our uncles, great uncles, great grandfathers, great grandfathers had to endure to take care of these ungrateful women.
Yeah.
And now for the first time, black men get to choose whether we want to be a part of this shit. If you want to be a part of this shit as a black man, knowing all this, she ain't crazy, you crazy. Now, if there are some of those that can come to the table and they got something to offer you that's going to be beneficial to you in terms of family and things like that, marriage, love, and all that, hey, y'all can have that conversation. But the black community conversation, that's dead. That is completely gone. The black America that my great grandparents had, when being married 50 years, that's gone. And so now I think it's actually better for black men because black men are in a better position across the board. So black men have more leverage. Black men have more power if they're willing to use it. And that's what you're supposed to do. Use your leverage as power because that's what they do. So use it. Stop thinking about black people and slave boats and plantations and think of yourself in 2021 going into 2022. What is the best move? What's the best deal for me, for my lineage moving forward? Do I want to be part of a group of women who will sell me out like this? Or do I want to look for other arrangements? And many brothers are taking that particular choice because many brothers do want to get married. Many brothers do want families. And so the reality of the situation is that these women are going to be the women in their 50s, like we're seeing now, in their 50s and 60s, crying about they ain't got no husband when they were in their 20s burning their bras. See, the women that burn their bras, they got old. And that shit didn't work. Yeah. And so instead of saying to the younger women, saying, look, we made mistakes, it's gonna work.
They're in the convalescent home now.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That stuff didn't work. It does not work. Many of these women need to start taking field trips to some of these homeless shelters and these soup kitchens and see who's up in there. You're going to see a whole bunch of old black females who failed in life. And I'm pretty sure many of those women are going to have college degrees too. And they're going to tell you where they went wrong. They can do documentaries everywhere. Why ain't they ever doing those documentaries in these homeless shelters? Because they don't want that truth to come out. Because that's where it's going. Have y'all ever noticed that some of the nicest people that you ever meet out here be homeless black women? Why? Because it finally hit them that all that stuff that they was doing was completely wrong. And they'll come to you very humble. Sir, please, can you give me $1? They come to you, but it shouldn't take for you to be a homeless woman, to be humble to the men in your group. It shouldn't take for you to get to that point. Because historically, our men, my great-grandfather had a 6th grade education. He taught himself carpentry during segregation, and he built 3 houses for our family. So even without an education, my great-grandfather made sure that his wife and his children were housed. So we have always been willing to house and feed and protect them. That has never been something we shirked historically, and collectively. So this idea that we don't care about them and anything like that, my grandfather was in segregation doing this and teaching himself carpentry. So we have to be very clear about what we want. And at the end of the day, the man moves the family forward. So if the man's responsibility is to move the family forward, it's his ultimate right to decide what kind of family is it going to be. Bottom line.
So Ron,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you some pushback. I'm gonna give you some pushback about this.
So
right?
what you got? What you got down here? Because we about to wrap this up, man. We don't went to like 3 hours.
Yeah. I want to
Let me-
share. I want you to share
I'll
the
pull
screen
this.
real
I
quick
will pull this up, though. I will pull this up.
because here's a problem with the brothers. They will see this type of female, right? They will know how she thinks. They will hear the dumb shit that flies out her mouth, but yet they'll still have sex with this woman because, oh yeah, damn, she look good.
Well,
See, that's part of the problem.
Well, if he knocks her up, you already know what she gonna think. We don't need you, Negro.
well. So check this out. Right? But here's the overall problem. What is considered success for women like this? What is considered success? School, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Money, getting a bag of what things can buy, what you can get with the money, right? And sex. Is a guy willing to have sex with me? See, the thing is that you don't have any control over the first two, but black men, we have control over the last one. And if you stop giving dick to these type of women, you will stop getting these type of responses. And that's
I think that's just a backwards way of blaming black men for women being stupid. First of all, the first thing out these women's mouths are how independent they are. So they are independently choosing which kind of guys to give their sex to, and it's usually a particular type. It's not a Robert F. Smith type dude, because he ain't checking for them like that. So it's usually it's usually a dude that they can control and manipulate. So if he's a weak dude and she's controlling and manipulating, man, that's between them. I don't care. That's between them. That's her dysfunction and that's his dysfunction. But if that particular woman comes to a man of means who's about something that's about moving himself forward in a positive way, now he should avoid her. That's what he should do.
Me, quite frankly, I don't give a shit about our relationships. It's her fucking ideology that pisses me off. And the fact that she's going to be teaching it to other people, younger people, impressionable people. We always talk about that shit on YouTube. Oh man, y'all are making impressions on younger people. Y'all are doing this, y'all are doing that. A motherfucker who get 200 views. How many people is this woman going to influence? How many people has she already influenced with her shit? How many?
Fucking hundreds of thousands.
How many?
Maybe even millions.
Okay. And we're not just talking about all the lectures that she's done. I say again, she writes op-eds for the New York Times. All right.
Exactly. The reach of the New York Times is the fucking internet before the internet.
That's what I'm trying to tell everybody, man. I don't think they're hearing me, man. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? God damn it.
Okay. The New York Times.
Is this thing on?
It's not just in fucking New York. It's not just in the United States. It's all over the world.
But hold on. We're going to have to learn how to give black people more credit and start treating black adults.
Come on, bro.
Hold on. Let me finish. You didn't even finish. Heard what I said. We're going to have to start treating adult black men and women like adults, which means when the information is put out here, black people are going to have to read on their own like we do. They're going to have to read information. They're going to have to break down information. Negroes can sit around and talk about rappers' lives nonstop all day long. So they're going to have to stop being intellectually lazy, read books, especially when you know historically there was a point in time when your people weren't even allowed to read. That's how messed up it was.
But you're not getting it.
Let me finish. Because black people, in terms of adult black people, you can read. There are billions of people in the world right now who are illiterate, so they can't even read. So we live in an information-based society and economy. And so if you still choose to not read as much information, I mean, T.P.O.T was up here dropping article after article. If you still, after this stream, choose not to read some of this stuff, look this particular person up, take some of the books I quoted earlier. If you don't choose to, because we're not going to be here doing y'all work for y'all. We're going to give you information, but y'all going to have to read. And then you're going to have to become more informed, because at the end of the day, when y'all leave these streams, you have to go back to your individual lives, and this stuff is going to have to play out. And you're going to have the information in your arsenal to push back against even your own family members. Sometimes your own family members will be your worst enemies when it comes to stuff like this. You're going to have to be tooled up intellectually to be able to insulate yourself from the BS, but also be able to protect yourself from even the closest people to you. Black people are capable of intellectually breaking down information, synthesizing it, and making sure they can filter it properly so they can make the most informed choice. Because at the end of the day, many Black people are making choices without even being fully informed on basic things.
Bro, but what's wrong with black men? But what's wrong with black men seeing chicks like this and saying, you know what, because of your ideologies, because of that shit, I'm not fucking with you?
Oh, I ain't saying nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not saying nothing wrong with that at all.
We're about to wrap this up, man. That's a good spot to end it on. And goddamn, Brother Stoic One hit the nail on the head. She is advocating for even more disemboweled Black society, man. This is what she's doing. And it's not even that this is the scariest, right? It's not even that her doing the things she does is the scariest. You know what is more disheartening and probably more frightening? She's probably not the only one. She's just the one that we discovered. There may be 10 more, 100 more, 1,000 more, 10,000 more. We don't know. We don't know. It may be 5,000 more of her out there. Tenured professors standing in front of, I don't know how many young people, pushing this in front of them, teaching them this. Think about that. She is talking about, I will say this again for the last time, she is actually saying that Black children don't necessarily benefit from having a father in their life. Black children specifically. She says they may not even be better off being in a two-parent home. This is her work, man. This is the shit she talks about. Look up all her articles and see what damn angle she comes from. She comes from the go ahead, be a baby mama. And hopefully the government will pass some legislation to give your Black ass more money than they already give you for being a single mama. This is her narrative, man. This is what she talks about.
She needs a goddamn psychological evaluation.
This is what she talks about, man. Look this lady up. Check these articles. I'm telling you, you will. They're everything that we said tonight and more. But any parting shots, brother, the man, or Rael, before we get up out of here? Anybody?
Rael?
Anyone?
Yeah. I'm gonna say it again. This chick needs a psychological evaluation. Okay. Anyone who talks like this needs a psychological evaluation.
Look her up.
Because it's obvious that that she is wayward. It's obvious that something is wrong upstairs. Even if she's a sellout, right? You know something? I heard a Black woman say, I'm sitting in the courtroom and I'm listening to this woman, and she goes, she's a Black woman, it's a Black man, and the mother took the kid away, right? And the Black woman, the lawyer, because she was a lawyer, she says, because she was the lawyer for the mother, she says, well, judge, we don't think it's in the best interest for the child to see the father. It's not in the best interest of the child for the child to see the father. And I couldn't help but to think, did this judge hear what she just said? It's not in the best interest for a Black child to see his father. Think about that for a second. These people actually think that the children that you have, that you as a black man is not even good enough to be around your own kid. For them to even be around their own father. You're that valueless. You have no value in this country, according to these people. With that being said, Thought, thank you very much, man, for having me. I really appreciate it.
You
We should
got
do
it,
it
man.
again sometime. I have fun.
Absolutely, brother. Peace.
Over and out.
Brother Rael, any parting shots?
Peace, T.P.O.T. Peace to the previous brother that was up here. The chat. I just think that I'm glad that you had this particular show, this particular person, because it actually gives more fuel to the things that we've been saying. Because now we can really truly put an academic face to basically black masculinity, hatred of black masculinity. You know, I've noticed this actually during in the NBA. And I remember how much they used to have moms like Allen Iverson's mom on TV all the time and dancing in the crowd and all that type of stuff. And how one of the people you never see really get featured concerning the success of their child or their son is Dale Curry with Stephen Curry and Steph Curry and Seth Curry. And how he taught these young men to be like, great shooters. And so not getting that airtime like that. I think it's just really, they showed more his mom dancing in the stands than anything else. And so I just think that we just really need to put a face from an academic perspective. Especially somebody who's younger too, because it just shows you how the younger generation of Black American women are just continuing to go down that same path of destruction that their foremothers went down, and still not really going to learn any lesson. And then they're going to be the same females that's on things like the Fox Soul complaining about men when they old, when they were saying when they were younger, men weren't necessary. So it's just a bunch of babble. Bottom line, Black men get much more aware of what's going on, get much more knowledgeable, get these books, these articles, learn to pay for some databases, EBSCOhost and other databases that you can search for articles and get much more knowledgeable. There's no excuse to not be informed about things that affect your life personally. You need to understand the kind of environment that you're in, what you're up against. Yeah, obviously, you're up against these types of Black females, so you just need to know who they are, become much more aware. These are basically your modern day Alice Walker types. So you just really need to understand what you're up against. Don't even take it personal, because it's not personal. It's for them, it's business. So you need to be about the business of making sure you make the best decision for yourself moving forward. Don't make decisions based on the Black community, because that ain't here. Make the best decisions you can for yourself first. Now you don't even think about a family first. Make the best decision for you first. And if you decide that you want a family, make sure you get that with a woman who actually believes that your presence is vital. Not just necessary, but vital to the success of that family unit. Otherwise, it's a waste of your time, because you're not obligated to have a family. When you choose to have a family as a man, it's because you want to push your lineage forward in a positive way. And no man with any sense will sign himself up for a woman who is going to basically undermine the very reason why he married her in the first place, which was to help push his lineage forward. I'll leave it there.
All right. I appreciate you coming through, my brother. Peace, brother Rael.
Peace. Always good to see you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, folk. Good stuff tonight, man. I just had to bring y'all this, man. And to be honest, with you good folk. I actually was going to take it, I was going to do something a little different. But, once I got to reading and seeing what was going on, I was like, what the hell? What the hell? And, make no mistake, man, this isn't personal, because I don't know this woman. All right. I don't know this woman. I have no idea who she was before today. But I am familiar with her body of work because I read a lot of her articles today. Yeah, I read a lot of them. And shout out to the brother Ian Rowe. I think I'm going to try to get this brother on the show. I might have to go through some of my other contacts, but shout out to brother Ian Rowe because I was reading his stuff and that's what led me to her, y'all. I didn't just, come about, her stuff. I actually was reading the brother's material and he was criticizing her article, The Myth of the Two-Parent Home. And he was actually countering it. And he was saying that her research was flawed because she was leaving a lot of things out. She was leaving a lot of nuances out. She was leaving a lot of comparisons out. Now, he didn't necessarily say that she was doing it on purpose, but he did point out that she left a lot of things out in her research. And likewise, and I agree with him when he said that she is trying to claim that Black children may not necessarily be better off from two-parent homes. She actually was saying it was a hindrance due to the financial status, but I mean, statistics and science has already proven that even if you have married parents and they are poor, you are better off than you are with just your poor mother. And you don't have to be a sociologist or a psychologist to know that. So the brother Ian Rowe, shout out to him, reading his stuff today. That's how I ended up with her. And that's how she ended up inside of this conversation because she wasn't going to be part of it. Actually, we were going to be talking about articles that brothers like brother Ian Rowe from American Enterprise Institute wrote. We were going to be talking about that. So it just kind of, made a sharp turn once I discovered who she was. But I say again, I don't know this woman, but I'm familiar with her body of work now. So I will be watching her stuff. I will be watching what she does, because I just don't think it's a good thing for somebody who has such a large platform that she does to be telling people, hey, fathers may not be that important. I just don't think that's a good thing for a Black woman to be saying. All right. Especially with her reach, the articles she wrote, the op-eds she writes, the influence she has. All right. The influence she has. I mean, she don't fucking YouTube. I say again, she's writing stuff for the Harvard Gazette and the New York Times. So it's something to watch. She's something to watch. And I will be watching. That's all. But yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. Good shit tonight, folks. As always, very serious show tonight. No fucking around. Very serious show. Very serious show. And yeah, man. I did put the links in the chat. Okay. I did put the links in the chat. So y'all go ahead, man. Check it out, man. Check out her body of work, man. Check out brother Ian Rowe from the American Enterprise Institute. There's a couple articles up there, man, from the Brookings Institute. Yeah, man, go check them out, man. Don't just take my word for it. Go read that stuff for yourself, man. All right. Go read it for yourself. I mean, because I'm going to say this before we get out of here, right? Now, tonight was about The apathy, you know, there's that word again. Apathy. The apathy for the family structure, man. Now, I know that not all of us are going to be able to grow up like this. That's a fantasy, right? In a perfect world, we got a mom, dad, it's us, and we live good, and we got structure and guidance and counsel and direction and all that kind of stuff. But that's just not a reality for many of us, if not most of us, right? I understand that. Okay. I understand that. But when you have this woman here who has a lot of influence over people, man, all right? She's writing article after article after article, and you're going to see more of her. I promise you, brothers. You will see more of this woman because she's gaining a lot of traction, and she's not going down. She's moving up. This about to be a Harvard professor right here, top of the year. So she's going to have a big, big audience to spew this stuff out to. And like I said, I think she's worth watching. And I will be watching her ass. So shout out to brother Roe. All right. Because he put me on to this. So now I know who she is. And now I know what she talks about. I know what she writes. I'll be watching you, lady. We're going to be watching you. Yeah, brothers, we're going to be watching her ass. But anyway, when you got someone talking this crap, all she's going to do is push forth a narrative that already exists. All she's doing is validating a thought pattern that is already pretty prominent, right? And all you need is old mama. You don't need your father. What do you need him for? You're better off without him. Well, if that's the case, that means you didn't need him to fuck your black ass to get a baby then, right? You needed him then, right? When your ass laid down and fucked, you needed him then, right? But now that the kid is here, you don't need him. You're better off without him. You're better off without him. In fact, you're better off with me poor as hell raising you than you would be if him and I were married together. Because guess what? Even if both of us are working poor, we're not going to be as working poor if both of us are together. That's just common sense. And like I said, the stats prove it. Even if you're poor and y'all are married, statistically, your children still do better than when they're living with one parent and poor. So I don't know what the fuck this lady's talking about. She's pushing the let's be alone. Let's get some semen, have a baby, and then get the father on out of here. But this isn't nothing we haven't heard before, man. And like I said, we're going to be watching this lady. We need to watch her, brothers. We need to see what she's up to. And I would like to know what she's up in Harvard talking about. Yeah, I'd like to know. But anyway, I appreciate everybody coming out tonight, man. Make sure you go ahead, man. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, man. I appreciate everybody coming out tonight, man. As always, man, you could have spent your Saturday night anywhere, but you decided to spend it here with us. It's appreciated, man. I don't take y'all lightly, man. I never have, and I never will. You got my word on that. All right. Shout out to brother Rael, and the one and only Info Man for coming through and contributing to the stream. It's always appreciated, man. And hey, I don't know what we doing this week, y'all. You know, I have no idea because I don't have anything planned. But I guess we'll do something next week. I don't know. If you got an idea, like I always say, for the What About series, something you want to ask what about, hit me up. The email is properthought@yahoo.com. That's properthought, one word, no caps, @yahoo.com. You may want to ask, what about something? Hit me up. Let me know. We'll do something. I promise. All right. All right. So, with that, I will leave you good folk with 3 words, like I always do. Open your minds. Peace, folk. What about this?
What about that? What about that? What about that? What about that? What about this? What about this? What about this?
What about that? About that? What about this?
What about that? What about that? What about that? What about that? What about this? What about this? What about this?
What about that? What about this?
What about that? What about that? What about that? What about that? What about this? What about this? What about this?
What about that? What about this?
What about that? What about that? What about that? What about that? What about this? What about this? What about this?
What about this?
What about that? What about that? What about that? What about that? What about that?
Only from T.P.O.T. Media. Open your minds.